Hey guys, welcome back to the core. We're here once again by popular demand with these guys. So you guys asked for it. Here we go.
Hey y'all.
Hey
Welcome
guys.
back.
What's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
What's happening?
Glad to be back.
Yes,
Part
we're
two.
glad to have you.
Yeah.
Be a little bit more casual this time,
We
Yeah,
like
he
it.
got that
The
drip
whole
on. He got
90s
that drip
R&B
on. He got
era.
that drip on.
We see it.
I know what the shades on, huh?
Representing our 90s R&B right now.
Man,
Well,
J.E.
today what we're going to be talking about, you guys heard the show before. We were talking a little bit about dating and all that good stuff. We want to talk about the end, breakups. How y'all deal with that? Because we know how we women deal with that stuff.
Right.
And we be taking it hard sometimes. Sometimes we don't care. I don't know.
First we
Depends.
break up, then we make up.
Right.
Yeah.
What do y'all do?
It really, I just think it depends on who breaks up with who.
The last time that you guys were here, we were talking a little bit about how women can, find a person, how you guys date. We want to talk about the end with you guys and hear feedback about what's that look
end.
like on the
Yeah.
other side.
Ooh, the
We want to talk about what the end looks like for you guys. Like, do you guys sit in the room and cry and eat bonbons, or do you just automatically hop on another one? What do you do?
Even how do you know it's over? I think we
yeah.
can start there.
Do you ever give a woman closure?
This is a lot of questions.
Yeah.
let's
Where do you
We
start?
got to tackle
Well,
these one at a
we're
time.
It's like a barrage of questions.
We're going to throw them all at you.
You guys, we actually
And another
decided to not bring all the questions that the ladies have for you guys.
Really?
Yeah,
There's
more
more?
questions.
Oh,
than
there's
that.
more.
We're just trying to
Wow.
pop off a couple to get the ball rolling, and maybe you might answer them all.
Okay.
Balls in your
can
court,
we-
gentlemen. Go ahead.
Yeah, can-
So let's
well,
start
can we
with
get
how do you know
five-
when
the
it's
first five
over?
questions? Can-
How do you know when it's over?
Oh my gosh.
Over.
Overall. You want to take this or you want me to go? You want to go?
Well, yeah, I could take it. I knew it was over when we just started doing things like friends only. Like there was no intimacy. It was just like a best friend relationship. And that's when I knew it was over. To her, maybe not so much. Maybe she was content. I don't know. But I wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
So that's when I knew it was over. But that's best case scenario. There's tons of worst case scenarios, and I can't say I have experience in the worst case scenarios, but the best case, yeah, it just felt like a cool friendship. But
So what
everything
does
else
it
kind
look
of
like?
took
Like you're in the house with her and it's over? And how do you get out of the house with her once it's over?
like physically get out
Yeah,
of the house.
like how did you guys?
I mean, I helped her move. Like
but what did that conversation like? What,
it was, the initial conversation. That was the hardest part of it.
yeah,
'cause
that's what we want to know. See, got to get to the core.
They digging, bro. They digging.
We're getting
it
to the
was,
core of it.
Yeah, that was a thunderstorm. It wasn't just crying; it was a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
So
About how long before you knew that it was over did you break up? Like, did you actually tell her? How long did it take?
about 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah. Because it usually takes 3 months to kind of like know when she's your person. It kind of took like 3 months to kind of like really evaluate if it's really the end or not.
Yeah.
For me, I can't speak for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, and that's I don't want to put people on Front Street, so I'm gonna just keep it
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
from my
but-
perspective, I'm only speaking on my perspective of it. I can't necessarily
So
say
once you helped her move,
yeah.
how long did it take you to? I mean, how was your healing? What did it look like? And how long before you dated someone else?
How
next
long before
day.
I dated someone else? Probably like at least a year.
24 hours.
Maybe slightly over a year.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, because I needed to do some
Self-work.
self-evaluating.
That's a really good
So
thing.
I didn't want to just jump into a new situation because I've done that before too. Like, okay, let's see what, but I didn't really
Yeah.
in hindsight, it wasn't necessary. I should have just kind of like chilled.
Yeah.
You know?
Because ultimately, if you want to really be in something long term,
Right.
you do need to heal.
Yeah. If healing is needed, sometimes you just need to learn who you are
Yeah.
and what you can bring to the table for that next person.
Yeah.
And just for yourself. There's a such thing as bringing things to the table for yourself. People don't talk about that a lot. It's always about relationships. What do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table?
Right.
Yeah.
If you focus on bringing to the table for you, that question will be answered during the interaction with that particular person
Yeah.
or prospect,
That's
in my
good.
Yeah,
opinion.
that's
deep.
maturity.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It sure
maturity.
is.
Pastor Keanu.
That's good.
No, that's super mature.
Yeah, it is. It really
I
is.
mean, and I can understand that maturity at this point in my life, but it wasn't always like that. I'm just gonna keep it 100.
So let's talk about what it was
Well,
like.
I
It
mean,
wasn't like that.
I know, I wanna
when
know.
you think about, okay, I had a, when you're not,
He's stuttering, huh?
How can I say this delicately?
You know what? I'm stuttering because you know what? There's a delineation between how I used to be when I was out in the world like that versus how I am now as a man who tries to follow God. You know, I'm gonna give you the bad version of being in the world.
I really want to know this one. I'm actually really excited about the worldly one.
I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
Okay. First and foremost, it's really interesting because there's a tie-in to the spirit, regardless whether I was in the world or not being in the world. The tie-in was that I always knew in my spirit which direction to go. So, if whether I was in the world or not, if the minute I stopped caring about what you think about anything, that's over. That's done. The thing is that I didn't get involved in those kind of situations often because I was always up front to begin with. I'm like, yeah, I ain't really trying to be in a relationship with you. We can have fun, we can kick it, because that was the thing. So getting over somebody was the world way of doing it, getting under somebody else, and that's the way it was done. That's where you grow up thinking that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, when I was growing up, you understand, like growing up in Philly, you know, the dating aspect was it was just different. One, we had an idea of how to treat women. It was always like you walk on the right side of the street, you pull the chair out when they get up from the table, you know what I mean? Like if you don't let them walk across waterfalls, you lay your coat down, all this kind of stuff, and which was a beautiful thing, but you learned to do that mechanically.
Right.
Without
so,
knowing what it really means.
yeah. And so when a woman's flattered by that,
she's open.
Yeah, she's open.
She's open.
She doesn't understand that's just routine for you.
That's routine
I
for me.
tell people that all the
But
time.
at the same time, it still was an important routine because it was drilled that this is what you do
for a woman. And it's important to do.
It's important to do because, you know, you don't want to just be like calling women out their name. You know, the whole thing. And I never was into that anyway. That was never my thing. But the thing that was so natural for me based on those aspects was dating multiple women. And the reason why I was able to do that though was because I never relied on having to lie to them. That was never a reliance for me. That was never a thing where it was like, yeah, I'm gonna try and play her, and then I'm gonna play her, and you know I'm gonna have, because honestly they say, well, you're a player. You can't be calling yourself a player if you're being upfront. Players lie to get what they want. I got what I wanted because I was upfront, and they were surrounded by so many dudes who did lie. So it opened the gate for me even more.
Okay.
So with those women, do you have to break up with them, or they just
that's
already
why I
know
was
that
about
it's
it was
to say,
never a breakup.
I want to talk about the one. So now that we talked about that,
yeah,
we're going to talk about the one
I just
that
wanted
you
to get
can't
that out.
break up with.
Okay, but see, I wanted to get that out there
Yeah, that
because
was perfect.
in the midst of those things, it still was a very particular thing that had to happen in order for me to even go to the length of being in a relationship in the first place. But one of the things that I guess the things that was happening with me was I still took pride in things that I did from a standpoint of the dating aspect. It was one of those things where it was like, if this female, like if she's meeting this criteria, and I'm like, oh, well, wait a minute. Okay, she's not missing anything right now. She got body. She finer than a mug. Because I was only dealing with dimes and above. I wasn't dealing with, I just couldn't do it. And it's not an arrogant thing. It was just something that was happening with me. So it's hard for me to just, any female. It was always like, okay.
A specific one.
Very specific.
type.
Like, can she kiss? Can she do all these different things? And now if I get into a relationship with this woman, I was in it. That was the problem. And I think that's one of the things I was trying to avoid too, because I know once I got into a relationship with her, I was in.
Yeah.
So-
I was
hard to-
caught. My heart was in it.
Hard
It was
to
like,
let it go.
It was like, oh, darn,
Yeah.
why this girl had to make me feel like this? I'm in it now.
Yeah.
This is, And then what happens is you go the distance, you go months, and you kind of look back over all the women that you've dated in a serious capacity, and you look at how long these things went. My average, I was young. My average was 3-4 months. 3-4 months, and I was just head over heels in love. If that was the thing, and something would happen where we would break up, which taught me something real crazy.
Wait,
We would break up.
I have a question. Was it you breaking it up?
No.
It would be
It
them.
would be them breaking up.
Oh.
Yep.
And what happened was that created a monster in me.
Oh.
And let me tell you why it created a monster in me. It made me push women to break up with me
Interesting.
because I didn't care. Once I stopped caring, I was hoping that you would break up with me because now I'm free. I can go do what I want.
Interesting.
If I got to sit there and work on it, that's a problem for me. I'm like, nah. I want you to break up with me.
Yeah.
If I'm
So-
done anyway, please break up with me.
It
I won't let
hardened
you
you.
know that.
Right.
Yeah.
But please.
So so apparently the one that broke up with you, that made you put that barrier up, that's the one we want to talk about. We want to talk about what you felt when she broke up with you that made you put that barrier up and only give a certain percentage of yourself where you are able to shake the spot easily.
Well, I think that it's not just one woman that did that. It's more than one woman.
But I
it's
know
a piece
guys,
of,
you guys can remember that first one.
yeah, but here's the problem with the first one. The first one, I was too young to even know what I was doing in the first place.
Yeah, but how did it make you feel though? How
I
did
was
it make
hurt.
you feel? Yeah,
oh
that's
no,
what, that's what we're trying to figure out.
The hurt was really to me. The hurt was real. It was mixed with a lot of anger. It was mixed
Yeah.
with like I was never the type of person to go through a woman's stuff like her purse, her phone, or whatever. Well, at this time they didn't have cell phones, not these. But I was never into like trying to get into her world like that. That was just never my thing. And I think that the hurt came because I invested my emotions in when I opened up my not to put anything into astrology and none of that kind of stuff there, but I'm a sensitive being. And I know a lot of Pisces are like that. And she tapped into something that I felt needed protecting before I even gave it. It was just something in me because growing up, I was one of those type of people that was considered to be, what is the word they use? Kind-hearted. Like just, like I would cry at the drop of a dime.
Yeah.
Like, if you mean to me and you saying all this kind of stuff there, it would hurt me internally.
Yeah.
And I would be trying to hold back tears, but that's when the tears come.
Yeah.
But it happened differently if I was getting into a fight. You make me cry, I'm whooping you behind.
Right,
You know what I mean? It's one of those things that you make
Yeah.
me cry.
Yeah.
It's like you start going in. Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing. And that it was related to relationships as well. Just slightly different.
Yeah.
But I think that within the confines of that, my dating aspects, it just, who was going to be the one or showed me that they wasn't going to step on my heart like that or step on my
Right.
emotions like that. But I went in freely. I didn't go in with that on my mind until I was already in it. And I was like, I went in this kind of fast. I don't know.
Yeah.
Should I had opened myself up like this to her? Because I was the romantic dude. I was taught to do that. Like I said, those other aspects was just a respect thing. But I was into romanticizing a woman. Oh, we going to dinner. I'm cooking dinner. I'm young doing this kind of stuff. And it made me stand out from other guys who wasn't even thinking about that kind of stuff. And
But I think that what women want to know is basically what you already addressed, is that there was an issue, there was a situation where you were in a relationship with somebody, you went in completely and you got your heart broken.
Yeah.
And so then you just developed this protective
thing, and it came from, it's weird because it came from me just dating a lot of women. Like it started there. The foundation was from the relationship. But immediately I'm dating all these different women and I'm making sure that is not exposed.
Right.
I'm
So
making
then-
sure that
So
Just
nobody's
to
seeing that.
clarify,
Huh?
what you're saying is that when you got into that situation with the person, they broke your heart, it hardened you a little bit. You reflected on it afterwards. It hardened you, and then it caused you to change
Date
your
multiple-
approach.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think that I didn't even reflect on it. I think it was innate.
It was.
It was
Interesting.
very innate.
Yeah.
Because I
You
didn't
know,
think about
because
this till later.
breakups, they take something from you that you're not even aware that it took it from you until you need to use it again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then when you need to use it again, you don't have it. You can't find it.
You're like-
Like I can't, for some reason, go that deep again because of this situation. So that's why even in my healing, I'm like, I don't want to be bothered with anybody right now until the thing that the enemy stole is replaced.
Yeah.
So that somebody great can have it
Can
again.
have it.
I don't want to deprive my new situation of some goodness that I gave to somebody who didn't deserve
They
it.
deserve it.
Yeah.
But here's
So-
the thing, though, about that. The thing about that is that I still went into the next relationship that I felt compelled to go into. Like it was weird. I didn't. Here's the thing. It just clicked. It just clicked. When I talked to like all these different women, I already knew ahead of time that I wasn't interested in getting in a relationship with them.
Right.
So it wasn't a thing. It wasn't a problem. I already knew that it was like sexual or what it was
Right.
like. Yo, you hot. I'm trying to see you about that. Like that was
You
my.
already had your limits
In his
on
Mac
it.
voice.
You already knew.
Yeah, I already knew.
Yeah.
But then when I felt that drawing to my emotions when I met somebody else, where I was like, oh, wait a minute, you just touched something else, and I'm just barely meeting you. Like, wait a minute, what's going on
Yeah.
here? I just had one conversation with you, and okay, I'm opening myself up now to explore that. So I didn't like block it off from those type of women that I felt spiritually like, yeah, open up to her.
Okay.
Even though I didn't realize it was spiritual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
like, it was something in me that was like, oh, I'm trying to lock you down. Oh, you
Got it.
fine. Hold up. You know what I mean?
But I do think, to Ren's point, from a therapeutic perspective, I tell people all the time, breakups are trauma. They just
Yeah.
are. They're traumatic for us. We
it's
do
the
lose
death
something
of
legitimately.
It's
Absolutely.
change.
Yeah.
It's
It changes
drastic
us.
change.
It is.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
changes us.
Yeah.
You know what's really interesting? I'm going to be real quick about this because I know I
Yes,
get
we
my
got-
man
yeah.
in here. I think it was connected to also something else. My first, like, I could officially say girlfriend, I was in junior high school. Now, this is the type of woman that I wouldn't normally even be looking at. She was kind of plus size woman. She was, she was pretty though, beautiful. Like, it was like crazy. Like, yo, she is crazy fine. I mean, I can overlook the, big bone thing. I can do that. I can overlook it.
We love all the ladies.
I know, because I love all the ladies, but I'm just saying
Right.
at that time, when you're thinking you're immature,
Yes.
you're junior high.
Yes.
Come on.
Right.
You ain't even trying to hear it.
Right.
But I also didn't care what anybody thought because she actually was like, so she was gorgeous. She was actually beautiful. That's the only thing. It was just kind of like, I
Yeah.
would normally go that route. But this woman had anger problems. And when I say anger problems, I mean anger problems. You're junior high. Why is your anger that high?
Yeah, yeah.
And at the drop of a hat, I could say anything. Anything. She would fight me. And I'm talking physically, fist fight me. And now I'm not going to fight no woman, so I'm blocking and doing all this kind of stuff there. And I remember the one time, this was right before we, I was like, done. When I say done, I mean I was done. She was arguing with me about something, and I didn't even really do anything. Like I was like, wow, I don't understand what's going on. I put my hands up to block her because she went to swing on me.
Wow.
She grabbed my hand and she bit a chunk out of my knuckle.
Oh, my
and I say I
gosh.
was exposed. I had the white meat hanging out.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
She bit me,
Wow.
and let me tell you, that right there was like the end.
It had to be.
I mean, and I was
Yeah, you
just
were
like,
abused.
I'm bloody.
Wow.
I'm bloody.
There it is. That's
And
must have
when I
been
say
It's
bloody,
abuse.
I mean bloody. And when and here's the crazy thing. Now,
Yeah.
but she spent about a month and a half. Now, this was the one that I ended.
Yeah.
And this was my first relationship.
Yeah.
I ended this. And she spent the next month on my doorstep.
Wow.
Boo-hooing.
Yeah. Oh.
Wow.
Boo-hooing about, no, I'm sorry. I mean, when I say boo-hooing,
Yeah.
I'm talking like, it scared me. I thought she was
Very,
going to
very
scared me
toxic.
to the point where I was like, she would commit suicide. Like
Wow.
she's crazy. And I'm
Yeah.
not thinking to myself, I'm so that guy that make
Right.
women do that. This turned me it turned me off. Like
Yes,
many times I was just
that's
like,
what
I
I
don't know
was
what this
asking.
I don't
That's
know
what I
what
was
this
asking.
is, but this it really
It did
that was the
something to you.
trauma right there.
Yeah.
I think that was the beginning and the foundation of the trauma.
Yes.
And it happened to me as far as the boo-hooing and then just coming to your crib and, that happened more than once. But this particular time, she was cool with moms. And this is why I don't introduce women to my moms. This is why that became a thing. Like, nah, you ain't meet moms.
Yeah.
What? No, you ain't doing
Yeah.
that. They try to get close to moms.
Exactly.
So if something's wrong, they go to moms to try and fix
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
It's like, will you please tell him to talk to me with the
See.
boo-hooing
Yeah.
and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff? And I'm like,
Yeah.
Right.
no. And I had
I've
to
heard of that,
argue
too.
with my mom.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not giving her
Right.
no never chance. She had 12 of them.
Yeah.
And guess what? I got stitches now.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Stitches and a tetanus shot.
Like, are you kidding me? No,
No.
not happening.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but she wouldn't give up. She was at my crib every day after
Wow.
school.
That's-
After school every day.
Wow.
Be trying to talk to me in school. All this kind of stuff there. I'm like, we got nothing to talk about. What you talking about?
that's
No.
Yeah.
a fatal attraction, bro.
Yeah,
Close.
no,
Fatal
I-
attraction.
if I had a
Yeah.
rabbit,
being
it'd probably
so
be cooked.
young,
Yeah.
her being so young, that's what she grew up seeing.
Yeah.
But that's no excuse, and
No.
that's definitely no reason why she should bite you, and she better be happy that you didn't have more family around at that time. Because
Yeah. She, yeah.
I know.
anyway-
I feel like that's a whole conversation because I want to talk about physical abuse with all of that
I do
too.
too.
That
Like,
made me
that's a
wanna talk
domestic
about
violence
that too.
situation.
Exposing
but
the white meat.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yo, she
Yeah.
exposed the
That's a lot.
white meat.
Yeah.
Yo, I was
but
just
I
like,
wanted to.
violence.
That's why I was saying let's talk about the first thing that shaped you.
And
That's
that's
why, and
what
I knew it was going to be
it was
middle
gonna be
school.
something.
Sure.
Because every guy that I talk to is middle school.
Interesting.
Every guy that I talk to, because they're learning. Their identity is developing. They're trying to figure out how to be a man. They're listening to the music, and the music is telling them, don't buy girls, don't get their nails done, or whatever shapes them into
Yeah.
who they become. But dealing
Well,
with
now the
someone-
music was different back
And
then.
it was
I think.
different
but back
then.
It was a
then,
little
I know
different.
that the rap was like, there was a song, because I remember all the guys, it was saying like, don't get a girl's nails done. I can't remember whatever song it was. I'm sure people will remember.
Which is
but
weird.
the guys decided like, we're not doing nothing for no, we're not doing it back then. And they were determining who they were going to be as a man because a lot of the fathers were absent.
Sure.
And they, in middle school was a really big deal.
Well, the thing about this whole thing, you understand, like, I grew up in Philly. There's a different dynamic. We were listening to songs that were like 10
Love
minutes
songs.
long,
Yeah.
romanticizing woman.
Not
Right.
these LA people.
No, it was very
Sure.
different. Like,
Yeah.
it was a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And it was always about the woman.
So
It
then
was
I
never about
wonder.
myself.
I wonder then
Catering
for
to the woman.
you.
Exactly, that's what it was.
I wonder if then for you, if that made you stay longer because of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Like, might you have stayed in that relationship longer because of this fantasy of how women are
Exactly.
supposed to be
And
and how
And
you're supposed to
also,
treat them?
and also why why you ended up so hurt and why you go in so fast.
Exactly.
Is because you believe in it so
I
much.
believe in it so much.
Yeah.
And that was the first relationship that lasted over a year. At that point in time, it was like everything else was just fleeting. It was just kind of like, boom, okay,
Yeah.
a couple months, we doing the thing and all this
Right.
kind of stuff there.
Right.
And, you know, and honestly, that you got that. You got that out of me. I mean,
So
and it
let's-
dawned on me.
So we can get to Sarge, but
Yeah.
but now we want to know. So where are you now? Because you were about to get married, right?
I was married, and
And you had a
that was a situation. I didn't go get too crazy into the details, but I can tell you this much: I do take responsibility in it. I still, you can't dictate what somebody else does, and how they handle certain things. And I think that in the breakup in that, I took on the aspect of dictating or trying to dictate how this person is supposed to act or respond. Like, I'm
to the
responding.
breakup?
Yeah, like, you know, to the circumstances behind the breakup. You know what I mean? Like, I can't control how you deal with the hurt. I can only control what I do. And at that time, I wasn't taking responsibility in what I did. And it didn't even dawn on me that I wasn't doing that. Like, when you think that you're doing everything that you can do, then you start to block out things that you actually do. And it becomes a distant memory. So recently, a few years ago, me and my former wife had a sit down. I hadn't spoken to this woman in over 10 years. I refused to. I
Why?
was so angry
Yeah.
with her. I was so angry. I mean, I was beyond pissed. When I say the highest of festivity, I was there. And but because I was hurt,
Yeah.
and because I felt like, you know, you shouldn't have done this, or my assumption of her doing that. Like, why would you do? Like, wait a minute. Why would you go out with this person and do this with that person? Now, we ain't gonna go there. But at the same time, there's assumption of something happening, and it's not, and then there's actuality of something happening. And whether you find out about it in actuality or not, the fact of the matter is you told yourself this, and you're responding from that place, or the other person is telling themselves something and they're responding from that place, but you're not communicating with each other.
right.
You're only communicating with yourself.
Yeah.
And that is the problem right there. It's like, if you're going to have something, talk to each other and stop listening to people outside around you. Nobody, listen, what you eat don't make me.
Yeah.
So we already know. I ain't gonna, don't make me boo boo. I'm going to say for the camera. I'm going
Right.
to say, don't make me boo boo.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
But-
Keanu.
So
I appreciate that.
You know, because
Yeah.
I don't want to count there, but I'm just, it's real. It's real.
Yeah.
So you know, so at
But
that
a lot of times when you're talking about like going out with other people or something, people in my situation, a lot of people expected because I knew what he was doing, they wanted me to stay in the pocket until I actually saw what he was doing. And I'm a person that I don't need to see what you're doing to know what you're doing.
Well-
So I would not sit and have a conversation with him about what he could possibly be doing. I feel like there was enough
evidence for sure.
evidence, but not really, because it depends on what people think. It was enough evidence for me. It was enough for me. And that wasn't even the entire, like, cheating is not always the reason
It's
why
not.
you leave somebody.
Right.
It is not.
And to tap into what you were saying, no, I think Don was saying about, you know, being aware of yourself. And for me, I left for me. I left because this doesn't serve me. This is, and not like I don't mean serve me like a waiter
No,
or wait on me.
no.
I'm talking about this is, I
Make me take my glasses off.
actually care about myself, and I don't want to be in something that's creating harm, you know, or creating an infraction in my soul. And so you do stay long because of
Well,
like
the
you said,
hope.
music,
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
And
You
the
just
hope.
have hope.
The
Yeah.
hope.
You just have hope,
You know?
and you
Yeah.
stay a lot longer than you probably should, because if you have abandonment issues, you don't want to abandon anybody.
It's
And
very
so-
true.
Or
If you
be
come from
abandoned,
trauma-
even if you're asking for it, right? That still
Yeah.
is abandonment on some level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
mine,
I've been
I
there.
was, you know, growing up with trauma. You don't want to abandon people, so you over please, you people please, you overstay
That
Sure.
because you
overcompensation
don't
is
want
real.
them. Yeah, and so, you know, like you said, like I would not sit and have a conversation with him. There's nothing to have a conversation about because,
Well, yours is very different too.
oh, okay,
Yours is very different. Yeah, I think that I think in the grand scheme of it all is that you already know the foundation of things. You already know, you understand what's being done and why it's being done. So you don't need to really have a sit down with a person who's walking the line of narcissism
Right.
to a certain degree. I mean, I was confused, like, because I didn't know,
Yeah.
and I wanted to know, and I think that the conversation, but also I also blocked things out. I didn't remember half the stuff that I did.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that what you're saying is there's a difference between somebody who is overtly harmful, right? Where it's obvious that the harm is
Intentional.
happening,
Intentional.
versus someone where you don't necessarily know it. It's just a buildup,
It's
a
a
slow
buildup
buildup
of
of
things.
things.
And you
Yeah.
have to try and through murky waters. It's not a trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's trying to find a needle in a needle stack.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
after meeting with her, did you feel like you made a mistake in divorcing?
No, I feel like we get into circumstances and situations sort of halfway blindly, and that when you look back, you realize like this is almost like I was pushed into it. Like I was cool where I was at. I wasn't ready to go to that other place just yet. And when you feel like you was kind of moved in that direction by circumstances or actions around you, you start to build a little bit of resentment, but you don't know it's there until later. Then you're like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was a problem for me. I didn't realize that was something that I didn't think about. Although it bothered me.
Right.
When you don't deal with stuff that bothers you, it just festers.
Sure.
It festers in you
The
like an
small
open wound.
foxes.
Just the smallest things. If you don't deal with them, again, that's why communication is so important. If you
Yeah.
don't deal with them, they become something else.
Absolutely.
Because they say, like, there's two sayings. I should say, don't sweat the small stuff, and everything is small. But there's a flip side of that. If you don't deal with the small stuff, they can actually become big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
and see, those two sayings I would never say, because I address everything knowing that it's going to build. I mean, you have to know your own personality. If you really can like discard it, then yeah, maybe don't sweat the small stuff. But if it's going to bother you, and if it leaves you without closure, it's better to address it even if it is
address it
small.
right then
Yeah.
and there.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to hear
All right,
Sarge's
I'm sorry.
experience.
Oh no, man! I was
Yeah,
on a ride. I was
Yeah.
getting into it. I was
yeah.
tell me more. Tell me more. You know, you good?
I'm good. Now I need therapy. I'm all right.
That
I'm all
was
right.
really, really good.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
He's like,
No.
I'm all right, man.
We need to go there. We need to,
All right, I'm all right.
yeah.
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 What about you though, Sarge? Any pivotal breakup that you feel like had an impression? How did it work for you? How did you leave it? How did you heal?
So yeah, I mean, for me, I think from my own experience, I think the reason why breakups are so hard is because I don't think anyone intentionally goes into it thinking it's gonna fail or not, have a favorable outcome.
Right.
So of course you're gonna, when you're young and everything, I think what I was like listening is that happened at an early age, like those formative, important years where like you're open, you're trying to model things after your family and friends and, people that you look
Yeah.
up to. So, that first relationship is it's important because it lays the foundation because you're open, you're new, that puppy love,
Yeah.
And so you're going to be super open and vulnerable and hopefully transparent because you want to like present your best self, and so you meet someone, you want to open the door, you want to carry the books and that kind of stuff. And then if it doesn't turn out the way you want it to be, then like you're crushed because you're like, well, what did I do? Right? I think you try to take like ownership and figure out like, did I do something wrong?
Yep.
So like over time for me, what I've started to do is like do that kind of post-mortem exam, you know, it's like that autopsy, or I do a lot of self-reflection to see like,
You're not getting away with not telling me about your first situation. Like, did you really think you was about to just go over there?
nah, but like,
You missing some key
look,
details, partner.
No, but that was real.
Night of the
That was
Stars.
real.
I was waiting for him to go there.
trying.
You know, so what
I
I've
mean,
learned over the
brother
course
went
of
deep,
time.
he went
no.
deep. Do I gotta go deep? Because it's all the same.
Go back to your 7th grade.
Oh, man. It's all the same. Hurt is hurt, pain is pain. You know what I'm saying?
But I listen. I can relate to him though. When you blame yourself for it all, you just like,
Yeah,
We
because-
when you're
we
young.
want to hear about your situation.
Yeah.
because what I think that people want to hear with you being married to Miss Beautiful Kahara, people
Right.
want to know
Right.
like what shaped you first, because we know that
Right.
mean, you know, based on what was it? What was our? Come on, you guys.
One of those
what
other
was it?
episodes.
Our
Uh-huh.
first episode.
Yeah, first
Our
episode with
first
the
episode.
guys.
Yeah, the Manosphere.
Yeah, the first episode
Dre,
with the
next
guys.
episode,
We
yeah.
understand that where guys like to, girls get rushed into stuff.
Okay.
You made Kahara wait, right?
Right.
So that's why we want to know what built that person, where you decided I needed to check her.
Shit is the
I
hot
need
seat.
to
I'm
let
telling you.
Yeah.
I need to check
Put on
her
that 40
out.
hour deodorant, you know? Shoot, Dove.
Check her out for a
Yo,
few
he
years.
You gotta, you
Right.
know how
Make
to
sure-
dance.
No,
She's the
I'm
one.
straight. I got you.
Don't let him stand up. There's a wet spot on the couch.
You gotta know how to dance.
Boy's cool as a fan. Trust. Nah.
Listen.
Okay. So we're gonna go there. Okay. So what's the question again?
Right, it's a few of them.
I know it's a whole. Okay. So
Yeah, they
the-
interviewing us today.
First relationship
Yeah,
that you
the
thought
most
was
pivotal
a real
one.
relationship.
The breakup.
We
That.
see that Keanu got a chunk bit out
Yeah.
of his knuckle.
Yeah.
Don was very transparent about something current, so
yeah.
you know.
So okay, I'm trying to. Okay, so for me, what I've done over the years is that I learned how to condition myself to kind of turn off. I'm listen.
Okay.
It's
It
a
seems like
journey.
you're
The
about
journey of 1,000 miles starts a single
Alright,
step.
but
I'm
let's
I'm
just-
going
Not
there.
gonna let
Okay.
you
She
get
said,
away
I
with
object.
I'm going there.
Your
So
Honor, go on.
so for me to go there, you
You have to
gotta
start here.
start here.
Let me tell the story. Let me tell the
No,
story.
You know it?
So
know it.
so
I
basically.
asked. Necessary.
Goddamn.
So basically, like I've kind of conditioned myself to like more or less try and be in control of my feelings because I don't want to get hurt. Right? It's like self-preservation.
Self-preservation.
You want
Yeah.
to protect yourself, right? So like, yeah, your heart gets broken. Who did it? You know, it's early on in life. Wow, I don't want to go there. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like in high school.
Okay.
Like it's like puppy love. It's you know. Why is it so hard? It's weird, dude. Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard.
You don't know what that's.
Computer love.
Yeah.
to tap
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah, and you know what? I think as guys, we don't want to tap into it because like it's like
Because you guys
it's like
just wanna-
revealing
you
it's
don't
like
wanna push it
revealing a
forward.
scar that you did so
Absolutely.
long to cover up and
Yeah.
kind of forget, and then I think
Shouldn't have come
you
on
try
the
to
court.
Goddamn.
never again.
No,
So
Never again.
You know what? I think also too with us being men.
Yeah.
We're not. We're opposite of women. Women are emotional creatures.
Right.
Yeah.
We
Right.
don't deal with the emotion like that. We lock it up.
Yeah.
And it stays locked
back
up.
burner. Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Women, you guys have that. It's on your sleeve. You
Yeah.
Yeah.
move
Cry
with
it
that.
out. We talk to our
Yeah,
friends
more-
about it.
I mean, we're
all the things.
relational.
Yeah.
You guys are more occupational.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of men locked up that won't deal with their emotions.
Yeah.
No.
And they're actually in prison.
Yeah.
You know,
Because of
Without
that.
being
what we
behind
don't-
bars.
and
That
they're
too.
either in prison behind bars or in prison without being behind bars.
Right.
So it's a trip to actually see because you know, this is what women want to know about you guys. It
Yeah.
seems like women tend to think that you guys don't have
have no
emotions,
feelings.
Yeah.
but you
No.
do.
No, we
you
do.
just
We
lock
do.
them up,
Yeah.
and a lot of times it happens very early on, where women, we grow up looking at fairy tales, believing, you know, in love, and we keep trying, and you guys, one relationship in high school, middle school, whatever, that first one, it started to shape who you decided to become.
Very true, but hold up, wait a minute. Wait.
What we gotta
No,
get-
men don't just lock it up from the gate.
yo, you-
They
okay.
don't just lock it
I was
up
gonna
from
go
the
there,
gate.
but he's doing it.
The men
Well, then,
actually,
I'm gonna need you
no,
to- when
I'm
you
gonna
decide,
need you.
when you know.
But the men
Yeah.
don't actually lock it up. No. No. The men now measure who's worthy of getting it now.
Oh. So they just tighten the restrictions.
We tighten it.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you can't get past this, you ain't getting to the other
Can
part.
I say something? And then we're not gonna.
No, he's going
But I want to say this.
But mine is quick, but
No, go ahead.
Speak on it.
But even that is locking something up.
Well, yeah,
That's what we don't
it's
understand.
it's a controlled aspect because you already know.
But I
if
also
this
think
woman-
women do that too. To be fair, women
Right,
do that
right,
too. It just
right.
looks different. It just looks different.
just do
that's
that all
that's
the
why
time.
the
That's
girl
just
was
how we
biting
operate.
you, right? Like
God
she
damn,
she had
she
stuff
really
going
bit
on
you.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a scale. I think, you know, one side is logical, one side is emotional. I
Yeah.
think the dial just moves.
It moves.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
for us, we move it more to the logical
That's the
side
side.
because it's
Yeah.
could probably be more convenient for us
So you
based
guys
on how
are
we
being transparent. You
operate.
guys are saying that you move it more to the logical side,
Right.
but you're not looking at this new woman and making her, comparing her to the
No.
last situation.
No. No. Wait. Whoa. No. She may have certain attributes. I don't compare anybody. I see what you come with, and if what you come with, how you handle it, because everybody's gonna have similarities in how they come into a circumstance, and I can't like put on you what somebody else did wrong.
I don't know.
I
Y'all be
don't-
doing it.
I know.
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
disagree.
I won't do it.
I think we all do it. I think we all do it. I don't think
Let
it's a
me
man
tell
No,
or a
I'm
woman
more, I
thing.
walk cautiously because I don't know yet, but I don't subscribe it to you. I don't. I don't.
Correct.
I don't. It's my defense
We're not getting
mechanism.
started off
I
the
don't.
hook, though.
No, he's not going away.
Nah.
We're
Y'all trying to save him.
No.
When something
Y'all
is
trying to
flowing,
save
you
him.
gotta
Bail him
roll with it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
chilling.
He's like, yes.
No. We're not gonna
We
take
need
this
to go
from him.
here.
Wait, I
No,
want to hear your thing.
Let's get to
Yeah,
Sarsha.
I'm gonna get so. No.
No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No.
I'm just
He would
saying.
love
we are-
that. Brother
we are-
man.
all I'm saying is that as us men up
Yes.
here, we are not just emotionless creatures. We
Yeah.
don't do
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
We actually have emotions that's very deep,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is why we don't put up with no nonsense when
Yeah.
it comes to that. We can't. No, that's the most sacred thing for us.
I think
Got
think
it.
we identify quickly what we like and don't like, and then we just have like a no tolerance policy
Thank
when
you.
we see it early
Thank
on.
you.
I think that's what.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm
tell us
getting-
about your
High school.
experience. High school happened.
Yeah, it's just again, it's like the same thing. It's like you meet a girl, then you put your best foot forward. It
No,
doesn't
no,
work
Sarge,
out.
We can't do that.
You know
we're
they
not
are
gonna
not.
let. And honestly, you don't understand. You're the married one here.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get a whole bunch of letters or people sending us comments saying that they wanted to hear how you overcame. or
Oh,
what you
how
did.
overcame
no,
it.
No,
Yeah,
no, no,
yeah.
no,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
the-
yeah,
not
that's
the-
what she wants to know. That's what she wants to know. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
So you just
No,
gotta-
but within your story,
Right.
within your story, let us know what happened. Like what
Yeah.
happened, and you met her, and
So I understand the devil's in the details,
Yeah,
you know,
please, thank you.
and I will reveal as much as I feel comfortable revealing.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I dated someone short term in high school, and yeah, I just wanted to. I think I've put it on the back burner for so long, where it's hard for me to really like remember because I purposely try to forget stuff, right? Like if it's not self-serving, it's not going to benefit me
Right.
now.
Discard it.
I don't want to occupy space in my brain.
Me either.
Right? So it's like a protective mechanism that I've imposed. So that door is locked.
Oh, okay.
So
And
that's
like,
how you cope with breakup.
yeah, so for me, it's like when I'm there, I process it, I deal with it. I think with this particular relationship, I got like physically sick, like nauseous, like nauseated, and I was I get hurt because like I didn't understand like if I did everything that I thought I should be doing,
Yeah.
and what I heard should be done, why did I get the
didn't
desired outcome?
Yeah.
Then you start thinking like, is it me? Like what did I do? You know, and so once you go through all like just that self-evaluating and stuff, and you go through the hurt and the pain and the emotional roller coaster, for me it's like you decide you don't want to go there anymore. You don't want to feel that kind of pain, right?
Why did it end?
Didn't do that.
Why did it end?
And was it you?
So I think, well, no, there was a couple relationships. So there was one where we weren't really like together, but we were kind of like dating. She was an upperclassman. I wasn't. She was on a breakup, and then, maybe I saw something that wasn't there. Like she saw friendship, I saw more. The one that really hurt was like in college. That's when like you're like finding yourself and your identity, and you're thinking like long-term future-wise. And so that one hurt because it was like more intimate. It was more emotionally based. It was like, hey, this one I could really like, see going the distance with. So that one hurt because of difference of opinion, infidelity, that kind of stuff, right? And like you were saying before, I'm not the person that's going to like go in your bag, look, watch you and question you, that kind of stuff. 'Cause I want you to be open, transparent. If you got a problem,
Yeah.
let's communicate, talk it out. That's just how I am, And I know people deal with things differently where like they don't want to hurt you, they want to shield you or that kind of stuff. But like, I'd rather rip the Band-Aid off now and like deal with it than like, don't spare me my feelings. I'll be
No.
okay.
Yeah.
But I'd
Rip it
rather
off.
know up front.
Rip it off.
So that one in college hurt just because the lack of communication. If your feelings changed, then let me know.
Yep.
Don't string me along
Right.
thinking I'm in
Right.
something that I'm not in.
Yes.
And so, yeah, shit hurts. Excuse my French.
So I have a
Stuff
question-
hurts. Stuff
I have
hurts.
a question for you,
Yeah.
Bahara.
Yeah.
So, the ripping the Band-Aid off, is that something that people who have previous trauma they like it just, because I know for me, that is me. Like, give it to me the way it is. Don't sugarcoat anything so that
Yeah.
I can get into my new normal
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's like is
I would say that there are different responses to trauma. So some people, as a result of trauma, avoid. Like they would rather not know because they don't
I
want to
know
have to be
that
hurt.
personality too.
And then the other end of the spectrum is what you guys are saying, which is more, I need to control my experience.
Right.
So if you
Okay.
rip the Band-Aid off, if you get all the information, then you can decide, to end it or whatever you want to do moving forward. It gives you a sense of control. And people who have trauma, they need to feel in control in that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is interesting because you really don't have control.
Control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's
the
true.
thing. We
It's
go
true.
for something that we really don't have.
It's
You
an
don't
illusion.
have- It's an illusion.
Yeah. But what we know is the more trauma we have, the more control we feel like we need.
Which is
So that
kinda
illusion
crazy.
gets stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kinda
right.
crazy.
So
right.
it's like directly proportional. The more trauma, you feel the need for more control.
Exactly.
But we're not really in control of.
So then we need more.
Exactly. So we
we
just
need
keep
More
keeping-
communication.
But you
We
try
need
to
more
Yeah.
straight jackets.
Yeah, but
salt-padded
you try to
rooms.
take control. But you try to take control
funny.
of what you can control.
Right.
Right.
And what you can control
Is
is
you.
you.
Is
Yes.
you.
It's either ripping the Band-Aid off or avoiding it altogether. Right. So that's
Yeah.
where we find the control.
Well, let me ask you this, because we can say that we can control us, but I don't know, how many of us have been in a position where you find yourself doing something that you said you was not going to do? Then how much
Sure.
control are you actually
Well,
in?
I'm sure that's happened,
Like-
quite a bit.
think it
in
happens all
life.
the time.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like calling somebody, like the person, I'm talking in terms of relationship, the person that you, I'm not calling her no more, I'm done, you're going to take control of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you find yourself crying for no reason, you're missing her, you call,
Yeah.
hey, I just,
Yeah.
why are you calling me?
Yo,
I'm-
that'll
you know,
pass, bro. That'll pass.
It'll pass.
With
No, but I'm
time,
just
it'll
saying,
pass.
Yeah,
It'll
that's,
pass,
I
but-
don't do that, but I
Stay
I like to
strong,
know
it'll
that
pass.
you do.
Yeah.
No, there's people.
I'm sure the ladies want to know
No,
that you do.
no, I don't. That's cute. I can be real here because I'm
No,
a
we
real
like
man.
that because
I've been-
we want the dynamics of how men deal with certain.
Well, I've been in a place. Now I'm saying this that hasn't happened to a lot of people, it happened maybe twice in this was always a serious relationship though, where, you know, I was hurt. Now I'm not going to chase you. I'm just not going to do that. But I would find myself like suffering because I'm thinking so much about you, or you know, and I can't seem to get get the situation out of my head. I can't seem to get you out of my head. I can't get what we used to be out of my head.
Yeah.
That'll cause me to go into a place of where I find myself with tears and like, and then I'll get angry in the middle of that. And I'll slam my fist on something. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
I would get
Yeah.
angry that I'm feeling, and I would slam now I ain't gonna slam my fist in the wall. I ain't gonna do that because I
Yeah.
ain't crazy.
But does
I
that mean
will-
that
I will
you
slam
keep going back to the person that you're trying to end
No,
it with?
I won't.
Because Sarge sounds like
No,
a savage.
no,
He
I
sounds
will.
like,
I won't.
I'm done with this.
Yeah.
It's over. It'll pass. Was
No,
that your
but-
approach with your
But it
situation?
happens that way. I'm talking about what I do
Gotta
in
be,
private.
though.
Yeah, that's what I would.
What I would do in private in that circumstance.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be trying to get back with you. Like, I wouldn't be like, yo, we need to talk. We need to. No,
Yeah.
no. Once
But
it's already been established that is that, I just
Yeah.
go through my hurt and suffering.
Got
I was
it.
gonna
Yeah.
say it's
Wow.
good. It's good to know. Like it's good for ladies to know that you guys actually do go through.
Yeah.
A process.
Yeah, we heard.
But they
Yeah.
don't know that. That's what the question is
'Cause they-
saying.
Yeah.
Like,
But
they
just because we
know
don't
that.
show it doesn't mean
Exactly.
that it doesn't
Exactly.
happen.
We're
And
not
because
robots.
like we're not gonna
Right.
say it, right?
Yeah.
Because we're gonna appear as being weak. Right?
So do you guys quit cold turkey? Do you guys just cut it off and that's it? And you never call again? And you never hang out ever again?
What do you mean, like
Was that your
ghost?
approach after it's
Yeah,
after it's
like,
over?
It's done.
No contact.
I think it
Post
depends on the
relationship?
No
breakup.
contact.
Well,
Like-
what are the circumstances?
Yeah.
Something like you're in a relationship
like
with
Like
or
your
dating?
circumstance. Do you still talk afterwards? Do you
Like my ex.
still
Yeah,
have
when
sex
it's over.
afterwards?
We spoke, but like we don't. It's not consistent.
Yeah.
Like we haven't spoke in a while.
I don't.
Got it. You don't.
Yeah, it's best not to because it's very
Yeah, it
tempting
muddies
to
the water.
just, especially if the door's still open.
Yeah.
The door's still open. It's like, well, damn.
Uh huh.
Now, don't get me
Did
wrong.
I hit the pause button or
Yeah.
did I really hit
You
stop?
didn't hit stop. You hit pause.
I just hit pause.
Yeah.
And
Don't hit rewind.
So this is a break. Don't hit rewind.
Don't hit.
I've never done that.
Restart from the beginning. Don't hit that.
You know what though?
Right.
It's funny. I don't do that either. Like I don't.
They don't socialize. Yeah, I agree. Here's my law.
Yeah.
I can't be friends with anybody that I'm attracted to or I used to have
I think that's a good
relations
law.
with.
Interesting.
Really?
I think that's a great law.
Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah,
I believe
if
in
I'm
that
attracted-
So you know
or
yourself.
vice versa, if they're attracted to me
Yeah.
and just want to, oh, we're just friends.
It's slippery.
Nah, the friendship's compromised instantly.
Absolutely.
Immediately.
Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
because you had first of all, we
If
were
we-
friends
right.
when we were before we got together. We were
Right.
friends. We made a friendship, and then it became something else.
Right.
Am I going back to that?
If I'm friends with you, opposite gender, obviously, I want to look at you as like a sister.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to.
You know what I
I don't
mean?
want
Yeah.
looking at you.
Like Three's Company too. Jack Tripper. And,
That was a great show. But I want to look. I can't.
Yeah.
Come on, we
It's
can't.
hard.
mix-
It's hard to do that because you're dating other people, and I got to see that. I got to watch you do that. I got to watch. You
Yeah.
do the same things that I remember you doing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, we ain't doing that. We ain't friends.
Yeah.
Go about your business.
But I feel like y'all men sometimes.
She said,
sometimes
y'all
y'all
men.
men
You heard that? Y'all heard?
What?
like to
Y'all
hit a girl
men.
up just for sex.
We do what?
Y'all sometimes. I don't know about y'all on the couch.
Okay, well, hold on.
But y'all men.
If this gets
What's
this
this
is
question?
Sometimes like
semantics
to
a
hit up
little bit.
hit up women, old women for
That's a
sex.
question though. He said some kind of question.
Keep the doors open. Is that true?
No, that's
Is
only
that
for,
a thing?
that's not for the women that you was in a relationship with.
Oh.
That's for women that you was just having.
But see, it's
I don't know.
Absolutely
it's a
for
felony
women
when we
that
do
you're
it, but it's a
in relationship
I don't.
with.
but it's a misdemeanor when y'all
I
do
don't.
it.
Who does that? We
I don't
women
do
do
Okay,
that?
I won't.
y'all
Felony
women.
Most of the
versus
say y'all
time, I was
men
tired of it
misdemeanor.
before I got out of it.
We are a nation of laws.
You don't do that.
No, I don't. I won't. Listen, if I was in a relationship with you and we actually went, like, we was like kaput, I'm not coming back to you. I'm trying to do something new. Because I don't need the trauma. I don't need to deal with my emotions. I don't need to deal with my emotions with you. I'm just going to go blindly and just, have my fun.
Okay, what do you guys think about this? Steve Harvey, I was listening to him on Steve Harvey's morning show, and he was saying,
Here we go.
If a man is, you know how when a person is like on and off, If a man says that he's off with you, he's on with somebody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you guys don't have downtime. Was
No,
basically what
we
he was
could
trying to say.
be off. No, we could
Downtown.
be off and just be
Out of a serious relationship,
like we don't got to be
down.
dealing with somebody to be off you. Like
Yeah.
we could just literally not
off.
feel the vibe.
So if you're
of
being
what's happening
ghosted
and
or
just-
like off, that doesn't mean that someone is necessarily like in with someone else. You could be about your business.
He
You
was
could be doing-
implying
It
that
depend-
men
it-
don't like to be alone.
No,
Right.
but
That's
my
false.
point.
That's
Well,
No,
I'm
not
going to say
true.
this. Narcissistic
You think
men
that's true?
cannot be
It's
alone.
not true.
Oh yeah, right.
Narcissistic men cannot be alone. So maybe we're dealing with
A type of certain type.
empathic
Kind
men.
of
Yeah, but
guy.
that's the
But
type of man that's in a
narcissistic
relationship or
men
came out of a
cannot be alone.
For their
They
ego's
have
sake.
to have supply. They're parasitic. They have to have supply. And when they're loving one, they're devaluing another one.
I agree with that. though.
So that's probably what Steve Harvey was saying.
He was saying men in general.
But that's
Right,
but
which
that
is
when they're
crazy
off
to
with
me.
But the
somebody, they're
problem-
on with somebody else
Yeah, but
somewhere
the
else.
problem is that only
Not always.
if you're a real dude, that applies.
You a real dude.
I'm saying because
real
a lot of
boy.
these dudes ain't real men.
Right.
A lot of these guys are
That's
little
true.
boys pretending. Just because you got age on you don't make you mature enough
that
to
shit.
be a man. And I mean, and I don't care who don't like it. I mean,
Right.
that's just real.
It's real.
Hey, listen, I'll give you a map to me.
Okay, who don't like?
I know. I'll give you a map to me.
It's the
We can
truth.
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Because that's what you're saying. That's the little boy stuff.
That's the little boy stuff.
Okay.
So my whole
Fair.
thing is like, if a dude is operating like that, he's not operating from the standpoint of the woman that he was in a serious relationship with. He's going to take a little bit of moment to himself and be like, hold up, wait a minute, I got to get myself together. I ain't really trying to, because you run into a lot of women who are looking for relationships and you know you can't get that because you just came out of something traumatizing.
Yeah, sure.
You're like, I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah.
You want to deal with somebody who you don't have to, listen, keep it 100.
Cliff Notes.
100.
Uh-huh.
Men don't pay for prostitutes. In the sense, I'm trying to keep it clean.
I don't.
No. I'm trying to keep it clean because I want to say the other P word. They
Okay.
don't pay for that.
Got it.
They pay for them to leave.
Wait, I need some.
Hey,
Plot
I got
twist.
It.
You got
I got it.
I didn't help
I
me.
got
Men
it.
do
Go ahead.
not pay for that. They pay for them to leave.
Oh.
That's facts.
They're paying
That's
for somebody
facts.
that they're not connected to
Exactly.
so they can.
It's transactional.
What
That's
they
their
do,
way for
it
it
to
to
end.
end.
Get out of here. I ain't got to deal with you emotionally. I ain't got
Yeah.
to deal with you. I ain't got to invest in you. And
So it's closing the
Transactional.
transaction.
It's
Yeah.
transactional only.
Paying for the
Interesting.
Pay
disconnection.
for them to leave.
Process.
So when people say, you pay for the P. No, they don't pay for it. They pay for you to go.
Interesting.
Wow.
That's a little deep.
That's a bar.
It is.
That's a bar.
Bars.
Interesting.
Wake it up.
I'm just keeping
Yeah.
it real.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So guys,
Wow.
if they don't want to really officially go to a prostitute per se, because
Right.
there's so many women out here they
Sorry.
can get it from.
Interesting. And they don't
without
even have to
having
pay.
That's my point.
They don't even have to pay,
Yeah,
really.
because there's a lot of women that don't. They like whatever. I ain't looking for nothing either.
They're disconnected.
True.
They disconnected.
They're disconnected.
And
Trauma.
I get it. And listen, there's a place for it. There's a place for that. But it's not a place if you're that dude that's looking for that one. If you're looking for that one, that you're gonna be like, I do. Which in actuality, you ain't ever saying I do. If you really want to get down to the brass tacks of it, what you're saying is to God, I will continue to, because you already said I did when you got in a relationship with her in the first place. So
So-
you don't say I do at the altar. You're saying I will continue to.
So let me ask you then, because you brought up a good point, which is
Another bar.
that you guys want to take breaks, right? After dating and all that kind of thing. After the
a real
breakup.
relationship,
Relationship.
When do you know that you're ready for the next one?
you'll know when you start becoming open to the ideas of different things. You'll know when you're entertaining someone who actually is tapping into an emotional side of you. Otherwise, you're just you're going through the motions.
I think it's when you stop filling your plate with things to do, like keeping busy. You know, it's like the self work, that reflection time. So like when you're dealing with stuff, you might to stay busy, throw yourself into work. You know, start connecting back with your friends that you might have like put to the side because you're in a relationship. It's like you're getting back into the gym, you're doing this, you're making those phone calls, you're trying to reconnect and stuff. So when you stop putting a lot of stuff on your plate to keep you busy, when you can just be still, I think that's when you're like kind of open to the idea of maybe like I can have someone else come
See,
into my
that's
life.
interesting that you say that because, see, this is a beautiful perspective.
Well, and
Men
I
don't
think
have
it's an
that.
interesting one because when I met you, you had a whole bunch of stuff on your plate still. You had a gang of stuff.
But like I said, I wasn't trying to meet anyone though. But when you recognize, when someone comes, you take
That's
notice.
where
Take notice.
You take notice.
That's
And then you reprioritize things, and then
Exactly.
you create space.
Exactly.
That's exactly
But here's
it.
the interesting
But
thing, though. I don't know. Maybe I'm not conscious of it, but I never really filled my plate with a lot of stuff to do. I never stopped doing the stuff. I never stopped hanging with my boys if I wanted to hang out. I
Yeah.
just feel like that was like, nah. If you want to hang out with your girls, you hang with your girls. I just won't let none of that interfere with my relationship. So we ain't gonna talk about my relationship, and I ain't gonna talk to my boys about it. You ain't gonna talk to your girls about it. We're gonna deal with each other as far as communication is concerned. And I just kind of was like, I still went to the gym or whatever, but I think that you do become more focused in those same aspects that whether you stop or not stop, you become more focused in that when you do go through a breakup.
So when you
Because
have
you
that
don't have
mental
nothing else
shift.
to fall back on. You're just like, okay, this is what I'm doing. So now I'm really zoned in more.
so you're saying that you got in a when you get in a relationship, it doesn't change anything about what you're doing?
No. What I'm saying is that it's going to adjust a little bit because
Yeah.
if she's the woman that I'm designed to be around like that, I want to spend more time with her than I
Exactly.
spend with my friends.
Right.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is some dudes just go
All the
380.
way
They
one-
cut everything. They
Right.
cut this and then you're here looking at this person. You're like, there's certain things you can't relate to her with. You could talk to her about everything,
Yeah.
but you can't relate to her. So she's not a man.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Do you see
And,
what I'm
and
saying?
there are
Yeah.
men that do that too. But go ahead, Don. What were you going to say?
Oh no, I was just
Oh yeah,
agreeing.
there are men that do that too, and they attach to you, and you're
Yeah.
like, they're like, you're my everything, and
Yes.
I
Yeah.
can't do anything, and I'm like,
Yeah.
It's like it throws you off, don't it?
no, it really is a
makes you-
lot. It's too much.
It makes you go
It's
into
too
the
much,
other
and
way.
then yeah, it does. I mean, it's too much. I think that being involved and as I hear more about Sarge, I realize that he and I have a lot in common because I will busy myself and I feel like at this breakup, because I haven't been in a lot of relationships, but this breakup, I ended up everything that I was gaslit into taking off the table. Like, this doesn't work for a woman in a relationship, or this is just what married people do, and this is, all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, it's crazy. Like, I would think that I would still be able to, explore my gifts and talents and still be able to be around my friends that are male, that I've been friends with for a million years, and we've never crossed. I don't need you to be my dad or my security guard, and I could still do my gifts, my talents, talk to my clients, do stuff that was just healthy and normal to do was an issue. Everything was an issue. So right now, busying myself because all of the stuff that for years I took off the table, I'm like, I gotta do it. I gotta catch up.
Yeah.
And just like Sarge with Kahara, he's like, well, I recognize when she came along that this is somebody I need to pay closer attention to. When you and I talk, that's exactly what I say. Until I feel that, I'm busying myself.
Yeah.
And it's not busy work. It's
Yeah.
just
doing
I'm
what you
doing
wanna
what
do.
Healthy
I'm
distraction.
purpose to do
what you
here.
wanna
Yeah.
do,
You
Yeah.
know, and when the person presents themselves, if they're
You'll
worthy
want
of
to
my
make the
second
space.
look,
Yeah.
they'll get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So,
that I commend you, sir.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I think also it's about like just being like available. You gotta just have that awareness where I don't know. 'Cause sometimes like for me, I can get like tunnel vision, right?
I
It's
do
like
that
out
all
of
the
sight, out
Same.
of mind, right? And I'm not saying it's healthy or anything, but it's just like that laser beam focused where you can kind of just like push out certain things, and
Yeah.
then you might lose sight of like what's important.
I did that.
But I don't. For me, I don't think that I'm gonna do that. But maybe guys do that because you guys get
Guys
so
do
on the
that.
grind,
Yeah.
and you guys are naturally occupational.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you're like focused on the bag.
Yeah.
Where me, being innately relational,
Right.
I don't think that I'm going to lose focus because there's something inside of me that wants to
That wants to
return
connect.
to the reason why I'm here in the first
Yeah.
place as a helper.
But see,
It's
that's
different.
why
You know.
Very different.
men and women need each other, right? Because
Exactly.
The
of
opposite.
just what you described right
No, it's
now.
true.
Exactly.
You know, so
True.
like
Balance.
It's like that. So to create balance, we need each other, male and female, or whatever your preference is. But like, so for guys, it's like it might be 80-20, and you guys could be 80-20 as far as like the emotions and the feelings. So like coming together, it'll be 100, but
Yeah.
it'll balance out.
Right.
Exactly.
So like I think that's kind of what's coming through with what you're saying as
Yeah.
far as like
Yeah.
what we're saying
Absolutely.
too. It's like
Referring back to the scale of
the
it
scale.
all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it also is something that, you know, again, it still requires a lot of communication. It's something that requires communication. It's not something that can go unsaid, only because if someone doesn't understand why you're tunnel visioned, then you're gonna have an issue.
You guys
Well,
spend
and I
time.
Tell me
think,
about it.
No, because it
I
happened
think
to
regardless if we understand why you have tunnel vision, I think that we still, as women, need connection. I think as people, we need
I get
connection.
it, but then-
We need
I agree with
relationships.
that.
So even if there's a justifiable reason for the tunnel vision, it's still in a relationship not acceptable.
No, well, what I'm saying is that my last relationship, I was engaged, and because I became so tunnel vision,
With her?
Yeah.
Or something else? Oh.
it broke up.
Oh, you mean tunnel vision
Tunnel
with
vision.
her?
Not with her, but just the idea of what we were walking into
Oh.
that I needed to accomplish, that I needed to do. So my work ethic went further higher.
So
And
you
I was
definitely
always
lost
working.
focus.
I was always working. I was tunnel vision because I was like, I can't take off here because we're trying to do this.
Yeah.
We're trying to do that.
Yeah.
And
And y'all be missing the point that we need still the connection. We
that's
prefer
what I'm
that.
saying.
Actually.
So that's why I put that on me.
We
I put
need-
that on me.
We
Because
need
here's
the
thing,
connection.
She wasn't. It wasn't like she was like a
Need.
materialistic
Like
type
real
of person.
bad.
She was just
Yeah.
like wanted to spend time with me, and I was so like the time she wanted to spend time was the time where I made my most money, and I was like, well, we're trying to do this, and we're trying to do this thing here. I gotta focus over here, and then it
Because-
comes up if I feel like I'm by myself, and if I feel like I'm by myself, I'm gonna be by myself. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's again, balance is needed
Yeah.
because men have to express themselves by accomplishing things.
Very true.
That's something that
That's
has
what
to
I'm saying.
happen. So it has
It's
to be
traditional,
you have
yeah.
to be with a woman who understands that,
That's what I'm
but
talking
you
about.
have to also understand
Yeah.
her need.
Exactly.
And it
Yeah.
needs to have balance. That's
Exactly.
So how can we
True.
understand unless we
That's it.
communicate? We have to
That's
communicate.
what I'm saying. That's
Yes.
why I said the basis is
Absolutely.
communication no matter
Yes.
what.
absolutely.
Sure.
Have
From
to
day
be able-
one.
Yes.
Yeah.
With,
Communicate from day one.
right.
Day
Which
one.
is
Yeah.
and that's
And
all,
keep it open. Open
that's
lines of
all under the
communication.
umbrella of availability. Because the best ability is availability, but it's a skill. Being available is a skill. Like, it's
Sure.
not a
Yeah.
reflex.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a default setting. Like you have to know how to be available.
How do you
You
know how
gotta
to be available?
for different things in different ways.
You have to make
Especially-
adjustments.
Right.
You have to make adjustments.
But she's saying, how do you know?
Yeah, how
like
do
if
you
you're
do
if
it?
it's a skill,
If it's not
Right.
innate.
you have to learn
yeah.
that skill.
Yeah.
How do you know when you?
How do you learn it? How do you learn to be
it?
available?
I mean, it's trial and error. Like you
Yep.
have to learn it through not being available, and then taking notes from those moments and situations and scenarios.
When you mess up stuff.
Right.
So experience is a great teacher. Experience.
Know how to clean yourself off.
Yeah.
If everything is
Yeah.
positive, you don't learn anything.
Right.
That's
Sure.
why negativity is needed.
So you
It
have to
just has
fail.
its place.
You have to
Yeah.
fail.
Gotta
Shape
You have
fail.
to fail, shapes you.
Got to get your heart broken. It's got to happen.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah,
I read
and
some
learn
other-
from it.
Yeah.
Right.
Have to.
That's something said fail. Learn how to fail better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Ooh.
And
Yeah.
fail-
Something
It's powerful.
Yes.
It was a. It was
A
a.
quote.
Something said-
Is that a bumper sticker?
No, but you know what? A lot of
The
billionaires.
Lord's, the Holy
No,
Spirit
a lot
said.
of billionaires.
Holy
do
Right.
stuff
Spirit
like
Right.
that. They
That's,
like
that's a
fail
fact. That's a
and
fact.
fail often
Right.
Right.
because that's where you're gonna learn your
That's
greatest
the lesson is in.
Mm.
Man, I'm telling
When you
you,
fall.
that is so true. Like for me, like deciding to divorce, right? And deciding to not even talk to anybody about it because all the other times I talked to people about the relationship, they gaslit me. That's how all men are. You know, this and that. So, you know, all kind of stuff. So I stayed and stayed and stayed. But when it's time to get out, I was like, whatever pain I have to feel, whatever I have to go through, I'm going towards towards the open door on that side. I am
agree.
getting out of this prison, period, and I don't care who has
Shawshank.
anything
You
to
should
say.
have.
So, right.
Who's
But,
Shawshank.
but I mean, family. I mean, I just feel like in black families, I talked about this on another show. Black families, the women teach you to stay
Yeah.
in relationships.
I almost think religion teaches us too.
Religion
right?
also teaches you, but
You
religion
don't get
didn't
divorced.
teach me.
Okay.
Religion didn't teach me.
Yeah.
It was family. You know, people make you think you're the one that's tripping, and when you're with a narcissist who gaslights you and makes you think that you're the only woman that doesn't like this.
Yeah.
I was like, but I don't like it though.
Yeah.
But I don't like it. And when I finally got to the point where I was like, I'm done. I don't care who, whatever. I'm out of here. The journey between that decision and actually being free, you don't even know how long that wilderness journey is. You don't even know how long it's going to be. For some people, I mean, one of my sisters left her husband after I left, and she's already divorced. And yet I'm 2 years in the process and still not, still going through. But as I'm going through, I am collecting very valuable information about myself, very important pieces of myself, recovering myself, restoring myself. I'm collecting, but it's all with the Lord. He's with me in all of it.
Yeah.
But I didn't care what pain I felt. I didn't care what discarded, what I had to get rid of.
You just had to get out.
It just and on the way,
out.
things are constantly getting extracted.
Yeah.
Getting extracted, and people, because people don't understand your process. They think that they know what you're going through. They think they know. And when you're in a place where you're like, I just want me.
Yeah.
I just want me back. That's it. I just want me back. And people like the unhealed version of you. They fall off too. They fall off too because they want you to be broken like them.
Yeah.
They want you to be in a broken marriage like them, or not, or feeling like they feel about never even being in a marriage. You know what I'm saying? And so I realized that these were the people that were around me, which is probably why I ended up staying so long.
They needed you to stay in it.
But that's
Which then
it's
made you
it's
feel like you had to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so now with me in this journey, just like the children of Israel during the wilderness journey, you know, they could have gotten out of there in no time if they had stayed locked in. But they were complaining.
complaining and murmuring.
They were
and all that.
murmuring. You know, they were doing. That's why I said I'm not about to be like them. I'm staying focused. Rap like I feel like I'm like little girls hold their daddy.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, I'm going. He's like, look, we're gonna go through everything. It's gonna be a lot,
Yeah.
but you're gonna get free. And so the pain of it sometimes, what men, I guess, don't want to continue to feel, is if they open themselves up, they will have different experiences with women. Or women sometimes do the same thing, they harden, and that's what I didn't want to be.
But you know what? You can't share your heart with just anybody.
No,
and your
but you have
energy.
to have discernment of the
True.
Holy Spirit. So
True.
me, I made a mistake, but God works all things out for our good. But in this, I feel like my relationship and what I went through was a seed, because now it's given life to a whole lot of things. And I have a voice, you know, I had a voice before, but I really have more of a voice now to women and
Right.
men and everybody.
Yeah.
But just like, you know, Jesus said, forgive them for they know not what they do. Because if they would know, they would not have killed him and now gave birth to a whole bunch of Jesuses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They stopped one man,
Which opened up everything.
which opened up everything. So
Yeah.
this is exactly what I feel, you know, that's why I don't want to be hard, and I don't want to like give up on love or anything. But I know my journey through this process has to be tunnel vision. It's not going to be until I get to that door that I first will feel that I have gotten to that promised land, and then I can look and see that you know the
Yeah.
land
Your
is
tunnel
filled with.
vision is different. Your tunnel vision is restoration. You know what I mean? Your tunnel vision is it has so much attached to it that's different. When I say tunnel vision, it's tunnel vision in the ideas of what we think we're supposed to be doing, as opposed to what God wants you to do. Because you're taught certain things growing up.
Right.
Like I
Yeah.
was taught those things about being romantic, and I always looked at my grandparents like I want that type of relationship,
Yeah.
and I couldn't get the years because they were together from high school up until they passed
Yeah.
at 90 years old.
It's like,
Yeah,
how
wow.
y'all
It's
do
like
that?
you want that, but you can't get that time. You can try to achieve the depth, but
Right.
then you go after the depth not knowing how to really go after it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you're putting tunnel vision into an aspect that you don't even have any understanding of.
Yeah.
So your tunnel vision is very different. Your recovery and restoration and the foundation is God. So
But I feel
That's a
like the
whole
but, yeah,
beautiful,
but the
different thing.
tunnel, but even grinding and doing that. So I think that the way that I'm, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the way that I'm hearing it is, or the way that I'm interpreting it is during that breakup, the close, like the door is closed, right? To where you're to your new situation. There's some time, as Don was saying. He takes time. During that time, if you meet somebody on the way, you guys as men will decide during that wilderness period, let me check her out and see if this is something that I want to,
yeah,
right? Where I'm like, I know during this season,
this is not for you.
this is not for me.
It's not for you.
Right.
And
And
that's
so
the
I
thing.
think that's why women feel like you guys go from one to the next because it's overlapping a time period that you should be working on you and healing and
But see, that's one person's opinion of what you should be working on.
I want to
too.
hear what Don, you were going to say
Yeah.
something?
I was just gonna say that it's funny because y'all were asking like, how do you know when you're done with the self evaluation process, which is focusing on you. You only know that once you start interacting. So you
Trial and
have
error.
to.
Exactly.
Trial and error.
someone new.
You have to
Well, that's
to
from a
make
man's standpoint.
that.
And then
I
you
mean,
find
because
out
I could
during
think
that
that I'm good now,
Yeah.
right.
and then I interact.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not good.
Not good.
Not good.
I'm
And that's
totally
happened.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
That
and that's
has
happened to you.
happened.
How many times has that happened to you? A lot.
Enough.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
Enough to
like,
know not to.
Not, yeah, and I can.
Well, that's good, that Don. But for you, at least you're so honest because when you interact with somebody and you can tell, something is like
Yeah, like-
rising up,
Moving.
I'm not quite ready, and then
Yeah.
you pass on it.
Yeah.
A lot of men don't do that because they've already gone too far with her. So now
It's
she
true.
thinks that you're something that you really can't live up to, and a
Right.
lot of women
You
become
gotta be honest.
a lot of women
Right.
become victims of that moment in a guy's like let me try it again,
Right.
and you trying something you shouldn't be trying, especially if you're entering the course
Right.
of each other's life.
Yeah.
Once you do
Right.
that, the woman can't separate it.
Which is why you got to be honest from the gate.
So
But
let me ask you a
even
question.
honestly, and okay, go ahead.
Sorry, go, no, go, I'm sorry,
no,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, because like as you guys are talking, I'm just wondering because we started talking about like, why is it so difficult, like breaking up, right? Like the steps, the transition, and I wonder if in breaking up, the reason why it's so hard for people, and please let me know, it's because you recognize that you are different as a result of that relationship, and you have that enlightenment, and it's hard because you've changed and you've recognized the change. So like, is that possibly a reason why it's hard to like close a door or leave it ajar? Because at that moment where whether it's final, you're having a clean slate, or for whatever reason, you're realizing like, oh snap, I'm not the person I was prior to the relationship. I'm now a different person. Do I in fact like who I am right now? Am I going to try and recover who I am and get back to where I used to be? Or am I just this new person who's scarred and has to keep going through life on different terms?
I think those are all factors, and it's the disappointment. The disappointment is the fact that it has to end. Like, so then you think when that's playing in your head, like this isn't it, but then you try to ignore it and continue it.
Yeah.
Like, let me just push that aside, ignore it, and then it becomes brighter, louder, bigger, whatever,
Yeah.
to a point where you can't avoid it. Now it's like, okay, I gotta
Got to deal with
Gotta
that.
Gotta pull the plug.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to, I guess, communicate with people? Like, are you guys like brutally honest? Like, have you learned over time that it's better to be brutally honest when dealing with certain people? Because again, that's
You
kind of
mean
how.
to deal with breakups?
Yeah, well, breakups and across the board, because I think like a lot of things that we're kind of circling back to is communication, and is it direct enough? Is it being received? So
Yeah, that's a trip,
Brutally.
because I was going to ask that. Like, do you guys make it clear to the woman that it's over, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's another way to do it. Like it's kind of over. Like
But you know,
It's ending
a lot of
soon.
times
Yeah.
guys don't want their woman to move on, although they want it to be over.
That's the thing,
But
but
they
so
don't
we'll-
want to. They want to keep the door
Right,
kind of
and that's when it
open
gets
just in
messy.
case he wants to circle back. some
And
kind of
ghosting
way.
is a thing. Ghosting is a
Yeah.
thing.
Ghosting is-
I actually have a client that just asked me how to slow burn it out. That's a thing. So it's not
slow
always.
burn.
What in
It's
the
not
world?
always.
Yeah, I don't even know
what
like
that is.
taper
Slow
off
burn
the
is like-
communication, basically.
Slow burn is like in a if you guys have a fireplace and you just stop feeding it.
Oh, it is
Exactly.
slowly.
like a soft landing.
Fully
kind of
back
thing.
away.
Yeah, you don't have to
Exactly.
like add
Exactly.
any more wood, no more newspaper. Just let
It's
it.
gonna fizzle out.
Exactly.
So that's a
Exactly.
way to ghost then.
Uh-huh.
It's
like a slow ghost,
I
like
think
Michelle
I've done
Obama
that
said.
before.
But see,
So
that's
it's
to
a
serve the
pacifying-
person that wants to get out. It's not to help the other person.
Because a
At
slow
all.
fire,
That's them
you know how
dealing with
long
it.
it takes for a fire to go out, even in a fireplace, to let it.
That's just
slow burn?
wrong.
It is
That
wrong.
is terrible.
It's foul.
That's
are
wasting
doing it.
People are
time.
doing
so
it a
crazy.
lot.
Oh my
Crazy.
gosh.
I could see like Don saying being in a relationship
foul.
and you stay in it 3 months. You
Yeah.
kind of feel like it's coming to an end, but you stay the 3 months. Like, is it though? I could see that, but consciously letting it
Yeah.
burn out
Nah.
is a trip.
It's just
Nah,
like,
It
I
happens.
could never do that.
Because
like
in
Usher,
your
let it
mind at
burn.
that point,
Let it
in your mind at that point, that person is done.
Yeah.
So whatever that person's reality is in that moment, or during that time that you're slow burning, is like you're living a lie.
Yeah, like, what's the
Why
point?
not just let them go? Rip that
Yeah.
Band-Aid off.
oh, y'all
Of
talking about
course.
slow burning in a
Slow burning.
relationship.
Yeah, in a
I thought you were talking
relationship.
about like just
Slow burning to
No,
get
no, no,
out of the
somebody
somebody
relationship.
new, and then it's okay. Got
To
it.
get
Like
out
you
of
know
it.
that it's over, but
Exactly.
you're
Nah,
gonna wait
that's
until
crazy.
you can. So then the whole time you're looking at them, you're building a case against them because you know that you're slow burning out.
But they don't know.
No, they
No,
don't know.
they don't know.
But
That's-
also, here's
They
the crazy
don't know.
thing. Here's the crazy thing. But here's where it becomes cruel.
wild.
Because they're doing that to you, and they're also entertaining other people.
Something else.
Sure.
You just in the blind, dude. You just
Sure.
don't know what's going on.
Right.
It's just
Right.
That's so,
That's
so wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
so
just
wrong. It's sinister.
That's
But
so
why do
selfish.
you guys think? Because I think that that's like a new school thing.
What
Why
is?
do you like the ghosting,
It is.
the slow
Yeah.
burn?
Because it's
Well,
a lot of the
title.
the interactions take place on the device, so it's just that's where it starts.
Unfortunately.
Right. Unfortunately, if we're texting all the time and then for whatever reason I decide to kind of like fall back, I could just do not disturb my phone. And it's a
Which
wrap.
is crazy to me.
Is that what
because-
you do?
I didn't say
Oh,
I
people
do
do it
that.
though. I know people.
The features
I
on
said
there,
I
though.
could do it. I could do it.
I didn't say I do that.
Apple and Android.
But you know some people who do that though. No, but you know what? That's like I don't. It's like I can't get into like online dating
Yeah.
and take it seriously. Like I've done online dating, but it wasn't serious. It was like, yeah, this ain't.
You
I'm
talking-
already thinking something else. When I
Maybe
was doing
technology.
But-
Technology is allowing us to like disconnect and stuff. You
Oh, it
know,
really
like,
is.
like
It's
the
like-
phones and
it's
the
diluted.
texting and
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
see, that's all in
because you
the
can't
plan.
slow burn when
Yeah.
you face to face and stuff.
No.
Nah,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
You can't do that.
You could,
And the
nowadays
ghosting
you
and
can,
stuff.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can block people. You could
Yeah.
deactivate your account
Yeah.
and say I lost my phone.
Yeah, see,
I
that's
hear
kinda,
so many stories.
You
as
could
a
just you could
hairstylist.
spin.
It
You
is
could
Yikes.
so many
I'm
spin
cool
moves.
on all
Yeah.
that. That's why
Yeah.
I rather meet people in person. Look in your eyes. Let me
But
have a
that's why
conversation with
people.
you. Let me-
It's
let
hard
me
for
interact.
people. It's harder for people to trust one another now.
Yeah, it's true.
Which makes dating tricky.
Yeah.
People are dating with worst case scenarios already in
Already.
mind.
All right.
Oh yeah.
I actually have a ton of
On the way to the
female
restaurant.
clients
Yeah.
who
Right.
get ghosted by men a lot, or they wait for a response for like 2 hours, they don't get a response, and then they are like, I'm done with this.
2 hours?
Like 2 hours.
That's crazy.
Men these days are super jaded about that,
Well, here's the
actually.
question then.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
First of all, if that dude is now okay, if we're doing self-reflection and all this kind of stuff there, are the women asking themselves what's going on with them, why they would be ghosted in the first place?
Hold up.
That's
I'm
it's
just
twofold.
saying,
here we go.
That's
I'm
there's
just
two
saying,
sides to that
women deserve
coin.
to be
Two sides of the
ghosted?
point. Just because somebody ghosts don't mean that they're the bad person either, though, or whatever. But I think
Wait.
that because people have a lack of communication, you don't understand these things.
Keanu,
so
I need
want
to
to
know.
what these women who are getting ghosted.
I need to know what
They're
a
not-
woman
Listen, Halloween's
does to
coming.
deserve ghosted.
No,
saying.
it's not a deserving
I need to
thing.
know.
It's not. No, it's not a deserving thing.
Okay.
It's a. Did you?
You
live
always
up to
come
the
with
hype?
some like tricky stuff.
No, you said.
Yeah.
Some tricky
No,
stuff.
I
All
wanna
right,
know,
let me hear it.
Did you, just like women like to hold men to a certain standard, did you come to that standard yourself? Did you come with that standard? And then this dude was like, you ain't even come to that standard, so now I am going to ghost you. I want to know if women even thinking from that perspective themselves. Everybody, like you said, there's two sides of a coin.
Y'all looking at my face.
I'm
Huh?
You giving face right now.
I'm looking
We
at
trying to
face.
figure it out.
Take
Definitely. Because I have an understanding, like, you know, women who are, you know, they go through certain aspects of, you know, what you bring to the table. Chairs. So you
Ooh,
ain't
have a
standing.
seat.
How about that?
Have a seat.
Wait.
And that's the same thing I thought before I was saved.
Have a seat.
So,
But it's just different now.
so are you
Have a seat.
saying, just to be clear, are you saying that a woman would deserve to be ghosted because she's not a quality person to date?
I don't think she
Wouldn't
I don't think
warrant a
anybody-
conversation.
She said
I don't think-
deserves to be
I don't think
ghosted.
anybody
Just to
That's
clarify.
No,
I'm
I
listening
don't- I
to
don't
what
think
you're saying.
anybody
That's
deserves to
crazy.
be ghosted.
Yeah,
That's
no.
why my whole premise was communication in the first place.
Okay.
Let's get that
But you
understood.
did. But you did say.
He did just
You
say.
did say that.
I'm
What are
asking
the?
the question.
Your
did
Honor,
just say.
All I said was, are
She's
women
badgering the
thinking-
witness.
Yes, she's definitely badgering the witness. All I said was,
Let's check
are
the transcripts,
women
stenographer.
thinking from that
Check the
standpoint
transcripts.
Okay,
themselves,
and
as
I'm gonna
opposed to
answer-
just asking or just being upset because they feel like
No, no,
somebody
no.
ghosted them.
Bruh, they are looking at
the
you
women
right
that I know that have been
now.
ghosted.
But these also
They
are
do
women,
think-
not little girls. We're talking
No,
the difference.
Well,
between
no. What I'm saying is they automatically go to what themselves. A lot of the ones that I know, they automatically go to like what happened.
Interesting.
You know, they automatically say what happened, and then I go to the fact
where
that that
do
was
you
his
go?
intention in the first place. Because a coward ghosts.
Exactly. But see, this is what I'm saying. How do you determine the percentages? Because every guy ain't doing that, and every
Right.
female ain't doing that. So
Right.
how do you determine the
But
percentages?
if we're talking about ghosting,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
talking
what I'm
about
talking about,
anybody,
ghosting.
anybody that ghosts has an issue with communication.
I agree
Yeah.
100%.
Because I can clearly look at you across the table, finish having a nice dinner with you,
Mm-hmm.
and then let you know this
Exactly.
is our last dinner.
Exactly. But see, no, you know what?
Or when you call me, or when you call me, when you call me, I will answer and say, hey,
Listen.
such and such, I had a great time. Thank
But-
you so much. But I am not interested in anything
Thank you.
serious.
We could never do that
But
to
see, that's
them.
real. though.
Message received.
No, but that's real. I would take that.
Yeah.
I would take that.
And I would
all the-
prefer that.
I prefer that.
But I
Yeah.
give what I would like someone to give me.
Yeah.
Right.
But see, everybody
You know what I'm
ain't doing
saying?
that.
No, they're
Whether it's
not.
men or
Nobody's
women,
doing
that's
it.
what I'm
Nobody's doing
saying.
it. That's why we have the term. Nobody's, I mean,
But why are
especially
people
online
not
dating.
doing that though?
Especially online dating.
Oh, especially online.
too
Because
easy.
we're building a
It's
person in the first
easy,
place.
it's
And once
convenient.
they build that person, that profile, that person, then a woman bites and grabs a hold of it. They know that she's grabbing a hold to this fraudulent,
Exactly.
false profile that they built. So
Exactly.
he doesn't feel connected to her. He just wants to see how eager, or vice versa,
Oh, if he
how
can- he can
eager
hit.
she
She
is
might be
to
fine.
be
He
with
might- he just wanna hit.
this astrophysicist.
Yeah, that's it. He's like,
Astrophysicist.
she's fine, and she got a brain. She might got some money. I want to hit.
Ta-da.
Guys, little boys think like that. I was a little boy once. I thought like that.
We all were.
We all
I know
little
you seem
boys.
real versed in that kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Huh?
You
He
seem
can
real
access
versed
it.
in
He
that
can
line of
access it.
thinking.
Well, you know what?
Taps into it.
You know why I can access it? Because my experience in life allows me to know what I don't want to be, what I don't want to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why.
Yeah.
Got
I
it.
can access things that I've been through,
Outgrown.
that I can that I've had experience with, to determine whether that's who I am in my life, or am I over here? And I know that I'm over here.
Yeah.
So knowing that I'm over here and I'm walking under the auspices of the Word, that no longer has its place except a memory and a lesson to learn from.
And it's amazing that you can even talk about it and to show that you're done with it because you're talking about it. Because I know when I look back at my life, there are things that I'm not proud of. And I can, and to me, that further qualifies me to be effective and minister, you know? So I
Yeah.
can, and even talking to young girls, like, you know, clients bring their daughters to me because their daughters, and I could be the same age as their mom, but for some reason they believe I was the girl that boys were trying to do this to.
Yeah.
You know, where they're not listening. Like, Mom, nobody ever tried to do that to you. Nobody was trying to, you know.
Yeah.
And so it makes me more effective when I can speak from a place where I used to be the girl that didn't have the protection,
Yeah.
didn't have the covering, and may have made mistakes that I shouldn't, you know, that helped to shape me.
Well,
You
let's
know.
be clear though. Just because we move into another arena does not mean that we still don't make mistakes.
Sure.
We
Right.
still make mistakes
Sure.
because we're still in the flesh suit.
Yep.
Yeah.
As long as you're in your flesh suit, guess what? You're in the flesh suit.
Sure.
Flesh, I
long
like
as you're in
that.
the flesh suit,
That's
Don's
funny.
gonna use it. He's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
use it on
That's
the show.
funny. I like
as long as
that.
you're in the flesh suit, you're gonna have to deal with these
Yeah.
these things, these issues, and you're gonna have to combat and fight that within yourself at times. Because guess what? You did come from over there. And so I like to say, you know, I was trained in the world, but now I'm a soldier for Christ.
Hey.
You know what I mean? So it's like I was trained in the battlefield to be able to be able to handle where I'm at in this position over here. So although I won't act like that anymore, I won't treat people like that anymore, I won't do certain things like that anymore, just know you're still dealing with a soldier. So, but I'm just for a
On
different
the right
cause.
side now.
Different cause.
So when do you guys make a decision to, like, I mean, do you guys put the pressure of like a certain age, like by this age, like women do, like by this age I want to be, you know, married and kids and this and that and this and that?
You don't do that.
Like, have you guys ever had that type of?
Nah.
We don't do that.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, some men, I've experienced some
Yeah,
men
it's a
actually who
thing.
do that because they have a crazy idea in their head of the type of woman that they want in their life, and they can't have that woman unless they achieve those things.
Right.
And I'm like, but you're already incorrect now. So you're not only are you not going to get that woman, you may fail at getting the things that you're trying to get because you're going after them for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I think there's a certain age that guys want to feel like stable.
Stable.
You know, you want to be able to provide. You want to be like mentally mature
that
enough to
age?
like. So I think people, you know, they mature at different rates, different ages. There's some late bloomers. But I think you don't really hit your stride till like your 40s though.
Yeah,
Thank you. I was
that's
getting
what
ready to say
I.
Your 40s.
Your 40s is where you want to be like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm
You want to be like
I'm
on cruise
cruising, I'm
control.
doing
You
some
want to be
things,
like
doing
know
some
your
things.
lane. You kind of want to like have a clear sense of self. I think in your 40s you want to be in that zone.
So are you
30s
saying
working
that's
up.
when men want to be married?
Well, maybe they say that now.
Is that the
But
safest
see-
time for a man to be married?
But see, but that's the funny thing. It's like we're not gonna want to get married until we hit our stride.
Until we hit your stride.
Right.
Well, we would. That's when we would
prefer,
like to,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, the
But it
ideal
usually
time, sweet
happens
spot.
Before then.
The sweet spot is I think is like
But
your
it usually
40s.
happens before
Usually
then.
happens before that, but and it usually happens. Unfortunately, the percentages is just crazy because it usually happens prematurely, and I mean that in every aspect. The wrong female, the wrong. You've allowed yourself to do this, and it took you off a certain path, or whatever the case may be. So a lot of times it can be premature, and you kind of be like, well, I feel this for, so I'm gonna roll with it. You don't realize you're going deeper in the rabbit hole. Then sometimes, but then sometimes you go that route and it works for you. It's different.
Right.
Like you said before, it's subjective. And he's right. Certain men develop differently at different times, but I can tell you this: no man develops faster than a woman. I don't
True.
care how fast it is. A woman. This is why. I had this conversation with you in the restaurant. Women should be dating at least 10 years her senior, because then the maturity level is actually even.
Interesting.
Until a certain age.
So
Until a
I,
certain age.
Until a
So
certain
chronological
age.
versus like
Certain-
mental age.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is like, if a man,
A decade?
yeah, I think.
Wow.
I heard
I'm just saying,
they're supposed to be half your age plus 7 years.
that's almost the same.
Wait a minute.
Half your age plus seven.
So if you're 40,
It's
they're 20
27.
plus 7, that's 27. That's
27.
Still 10
27
years almost.
Wait,
Years.
it's
That's almost
more.
10 years.
Oh?
It's
Wait,
more.
say it
It's
one more
more.
time. Half your age.
Half your age
plus 7.
add 7 years.
Okay.
That should be.
Women should be.
So you're saying like
Women
a
should be that
40-year-old
younger.
man,
A man should be
date
with-
27?
That's what the
based
people.
on maturity.
Yeah, based on maturity. But at the same
That's the
time,
maturity gap.
interesting.
But here's the
The
problem.
maturity gap might be 13 years.
It might be,
basically.
but the problem.
That sound real beneficial to men.
Well,
Exactly.
That sound real beneficial to y'all.
why you say
I
that?
actually
beneficial
know a
to y'all
guy-
too,
I know
because
a
y'all-
guy who married
Nah,
a
y'all
girl
old
who
ass
had,
men.
I know a guy in his 30s, well, we were in our 30s, and he married a woman in her 50s, almost 60, who had a child.
His age?
Yeah.
I did that.
Like, right? Yeah, you did?
I was 19 dating a 40-year-old woman.
Interesting.
I was the same age as her kids.
And he
Interesting.
married her.
Can I ask why though?
Can I ask what you
That was a new experience for me.
See?
That was such an experience because remember, my foundation. This was only a few years after that. Because see, junior high was 8th and 9th back then. Junior high, high school didn't start at 9th grade like it does today. 10th grade was high school for me when I was in school. And by the time I came out of high school, I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? I'm dealing with these little girls I can't stand. I'm dealing with all these girls that's my age. I can't stand them. They're getting on my nerves. This woman comes along. Who's like, she's giving me this energy, and I'm like,
Energy.
ooh, what is this?
That Eartha Kitt
That
energy.
yeah, shit, but only she
Marcus,
Only
darling.
she was fine. Only she was crazy
Miss
fine.
Parker.
Yes, she was Miss Parker.
Wow.
She was
Interesting.
insanely fine, and I carried myself in a very mature manner, even back then, because I hung around all older people, my relatives, whatever. So they was teaching me all this game as a man. These were men in their 30s that was giving me all this game. I'm a teenager, and I'm walking like them. Because it's a heavy influence.
Yeah.
So she's just like picking up like, and when she finds out how
You
old I
sound like
am-
you don't go by the principle then, because I thought that the men were supposed to be older.
Yeah, I was 19.
But
And
the
she was
funny
older.
thing,
Yeah,
the funny
they
thing
just-
is you thought it was something you were doing that got her.
Dude,
Yeah.
she got you.
Until I got older and realized, and
realized it was-
understood.
okay.
So I understood, but when I was 19, I was
Yeah.
like, okay,
Thought
she
you was pulling
You
her.
were like, I got
okay,
swag.
I'm pulling this shorty. Now, here's my thing. All I knew was, which was a huge opposite of what I was dealing with girls my age and younger. I got massages. I got cooked food. I
you
got
talking about, y'all?
sex to
What you
death.
talking about?
I
Because
got.
that's what it was about.
That's what it's about. I'm just saying because you know what? Because
Pause recording.
in that age, that
Oh my
when
God.
that young, they want the young dude before his stamina. But the thing about the stamina is like you can get with an immature stamina dude and it make your world like hell. I wasn't that dude, so it was one of those things
Yeah.
where she would stop by the gig. She wouldn't. She would just drop flowers off to me. She's like, you know what? Don't even disturb him. I know he working. Just give these to him. So I would have. Now, mind you, at this point in time, I was thinking I was going to become a chef. I was cooking
Wait, but you
professionally.
selling the point, which is that women
He just-
need to
No,
date
I'm
older
just-
men.
He's
No.
just saying.
Because
the
she was
reverse.
courting you.
I'm just saying the reverse.
But it
of
also
She was
goes
courting
both
you.
ways.
Yeah,
it
it
goes
goes-
both ways
listen.
because that's been. I mean, people have been suggesting that to me.
Yeah.
like that.
To date
that-
younger?
Go-
Yeah, date younger.
Date
And I
younger.
have a really, really beautiful friend that will not touch a guy our age. She is like absolutely.
She wants younger.
not.
Yes.
She wants younger.
So
and
why
not
does she want the younger?
I know
Why?
somebody like that too.
He
She-
said
they
why?
will not
Probably because
Again,
of all the
why?
reasons
All
that
that
he
stuff?
just said, the stamina and the
Yeah.
what else?
First of all, it's mostly the stamina.
Yeah.
It's mostly the stamina.
So to
Probably
fulfill
because
And
she likes-
physiological
she likes the look
needs.
Of the
She like the
young
look of the young guy.
guys.
He takes care of himself. He dresses nicely. She like the way he
Wants an
carry
arm piece.
himself. She wants an art piece too.
Hey, girls, look what I
It's
got.
the reverse. That's why
It's
I'm
the
saying
reverse.
what he's saying is relevant because
It's-
there are women that really are like that. I
know a couple girls now
personally-
that won't date anybody over 25. She's 40.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess
I'm like,
know what you
It's
want.
not for
Yeah,
maturity
basically.
reasons.
But-
It's not
Everybody
for
has-
maturity
but
reasons.
in the grand scheme of everything, I think that women should date older because by the
It's not
time
fair.
they get to a certain point,
No fair.
well,
No.
no, I'm not saying a broken down dude. I'm not talking about a broken
I
down
know,
dude.
you're talking about one
I'm talking
that-
about somebody who's like look at me.
I think maybe I think a sweet spot's like maybe 5 years.
I don't
think
know.
I think maturity wise, I mean, because we're about
Maybe
4
7.
years
Yeah,
apart.
4.
So I think
Yeah,
like
but y'all
4.
different too. You can't compare you to everybody else.
True. But like I think like the 4 to 7 years is like
Yeah.
a good, healthy, sweet
I
spot.
think that's
Yeah, that's good.
Maturity wise.
And,
I don't-
I mean, it could be
listen.
10, but 4 to 7 sounds like more.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
7 sounds. Well, for me, I feel like I want somebody around my actual age, and
You can
I
relate to.
want just somebody
Yeah.
with some energy,
Energy.
like me. You know, we still work out, we still have
Most
energy,
Yeah.
we still,
guys
you know.
are your age and above. They sitting on the couch,
Absolutely.
growing a bare belly, talking about some baby. You need to
And they're not trying to
Holla.
travel. They ain't
They
trying to
ain't
travel.
talking
They ain't trying to go for
they
no
looking at
hikes.
you. They looking at you. They got bare belly. Telling them, "Can you grab me a beer?" And also, girl, you need to get in the gym.
It-
Like what?
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
exactly.
Are you kidding
exactly.
me? Guys, they doing that kind of
It's so
stuff.
true.
And
And so the women that date younger is because of that.
it's one of the reasons.
They're
because
like-
they're like
Energy,
no energy,
curiosity.
no nothing,
You know,
just-
the man has given up. And they always talk about women giving up.
Yep.
A lot of men give up.
They think
get
it's all the
married
idea.
and then they decide, you know what? I'm married. Now I can be a couch potato.
I don't gotta do nothing.
You got to do
You
the
gotta
same
know.
stuff you
Thank you.
did when you got the woman in the
Thank you.
first
Keep the
place.
same
You got to
energy.
keep it.
How
I
did
mean,
I know?
like things can change. It's not gonna be exactly the same, but you can still got to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The date nights,
You
the
gotta keep all
being
that.
thoughtful,
Yeah.
sending the text message, hey, just thinking about you, sending a picture.
And when they're lazy with, like they themselves, then they're lazy with those things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are.
Because it's really not about them sitting on the couch and watching
So it's
TV.
a- it's
not
a-
about
It's
that.
more about
Accountability,
effort.
Yeah.
effort,
The effort.
accountability.
Yeah.
Effort.
It's just
Yeah.
gone all the way around.
Yeah.
But then communicate, like, yo, like, what is this?
Yeah, but most men are settled into that. Won't even hear that.
They don't even care.
They
No.
don't want to hear none of
As
that.
long as you do it for you from the beginning, you'll never stop
You'll never stop doing
because you need to satisfy you. Like
Right.
I'm not
If you were doing
staying
it
in
as
shape
a-
to get girls. I'm staying in shape because it's healthy and
Yeah.
I want.
Yeah, you were
to
Yeah.
be
doing it
healthy.
as you're building a
Yeah,
disguise.
so I'm not gonna stop
You're
doing
building
it.
a
But also,
disguise.
I'm not gonna let my woman be finer than me. We're gonna look good
Thank
together.
you.
We're gonna look
We
good
need to
together.
compliment each
We
other.
need to compliment each other.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
like looking all you getting the hair done and nails done and you got the little hot little outfit on. Hold on, wait a minute, hold up. What we doing here? What I'm doing? What's wrong with me? What I'm doing?
But see, that's like self-awareness. That's you taking note of like,
Yeah.
what's popping off
You got,
Yeah.
listen,
and not being lazy.
I'm
Not being
57 right
lazy.
now. You understand me?
Look good.
What you say?
All right, guys. I have
I'm
a final
57
question.
Right now. You
I have a
understand
final
me?
question for
And
y'all.
I'm not playing no games.
Okay.
I ain't know
You gonna
that.
be- you
All right,
walk with
final
me, you gonna
question.
be-
Hashtag no games.
I ain't know that.
Going back to the
Not playing.
breakup thing and moving forward and all that good stuff. What advice would you give to women
Here we
about
go.
both how they should know when it's time for them to get into a relationship after a breakup and how to spot a guy who's ready for one? A relationship.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's
That's
trick.
kind of loaded.
What?
That's tricky.
That's a little loaded.
That's pretty
What-
Wait, say
tricky.
it one more time.
What
One more-
advice
What
would you give
advice?
to women about how they would know when it's time for them to move forward? Right? What are they
In their
doing?
relationship or
The one that you're in with
Move
them.
forward in terms of getting into a new relationship after a
oh,
breakup,
okay.
and how they would know that a guy is ready for a new relationship too.
Can you add the question that they thought you were asking right before that, though?
What was that?
What would they say a woman should pay attention to in the relationship that says he's out of it or that they should get out of it? I think that
For the
is
breakup?
like, you know how we were talking about, like Don said, 3 months prior or whatever, or ghost or somebody that's they're in a relationship with, that they should say, you know, once he starts doing these things, he's done.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the second question, right? Because how we know that you guys are ready for a relationship might feed into the
Opposite.
when they're not ready for a relationship,
Okay.
right? Does that question? You need me to say it one more time?
No, how about we answer one question at a time?
Yeah.
Because right now I got 3 things in my head. I'm
How
like,
do you
wait.
know? What advice would you give to women in terms of when they should know that they're ready to move forward with a
That
relationship?
they're ready to move forward?
How would we know when?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
we
about to say. I
can't
think
know
that's
What
a question.
advice would you
that's
give?
a question y'all need to answer, Loki.
Yeah, we
What
can't.
advice
We
would you give?
could. We could.
What do you
take a
speculate?
shot at
What are
it.
y'all looking for
Okay.
in terms of a ready woman?
Okay, that's
What are
different.
we looking for? What are we looking for? Honestly,
Oh, wow.
what makes us feel
That's a
important?
great question.
I'm gonna go a layer deeper. What makes us feel important or needed by women is when women want to be led by us.
So women are ready to be in a relationship.
And right
when they're-
now, currently, we're in an environment where it's optional. Again,
true.
we spoke about this in part 1. It used to be mandatory, now it's optional. So that's the first sign for both of us, for men and women, when women feel comfortable with being led by us, and when we feel that it's wanted or needed, along with the chemistry and you know the everything else that comes with the interaction. But yeah, I think
So
that's
when
most
she,
important.
when she can trust your lead.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Good, Don.
I agree with that. I got a little bit to add to that, but I agree.
really
You go?
I'm just going to piggyback and say
Yeah,
I
that was
agree.
great.
You hit the nail on the head right there.
Yeah, I think
So it's like
Interesting.
the respect thing, right? Like a woman respects your voice, she respects your leadership, because what looks like for us, we love, but men love respect, right?
Yeah.
right.
So
I
Yeah,
agree.
need it, appreciate
Good
it, respect
synopsis.
it, like
Steve.
just the core stuff, you know, because when you got a good dude, I speak for myself, but you guys are good dudes too. A good dude's gonna do whatever is needed and necessary to protect his woman. Hands down.
Yeah,
But you have to feel needed and respected. Like once those 2 pillars are like intact, there's nothing like your dude won't do for you. Regardless of you guys are bumping heads, whatever, that can be dealt with later, but always gonna have your back, whatever. We'll address this later. That's just how I operate and function.
Yeah.
You know. So when that starts to dwindle, or like there's a lack or less of that happening, then it's kind of like, well, if you don't value what I'm bringing to the table or whatever, okay, that's cool. We can do things this way. But then you kind of remove yourself in terms of like, well, it doesn't really carry any weight, so let the cards fall where they may.
it's very important. I'm sorry.
No, I was trying to answer the
It's
question.
very
That's cool.
important to find out what that looks like for you, what that looks like for the guy. Like being a leader, what does that look like?
Yeah.
And what does it look like to her?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that needs to be discussed early on, because if you come and bring your leadership to her and that's not an area that she views as leadership, then we have a problem from the gate. But when
Absolutely.
we don't identify or don't understand that, then you get into something and you're like, well, you know, as a man, I'm supposed to do this, and as a man, I'm supposed to do that. And she's like, listen, I don't need that. Let's talk about what it is I need. Customize this experience for me.
Exactly.
And let's customize this relationship for each other. You can't just come and bring what you think is manhood or leadership or, you know, whatever.
But you
And
gotta
she
humble
can't-
yourself.
Wait, but
Sorry,
let me say
sorry,
too,
sorry.
She can't bring what she views as submission to you and say, well, submission is that I cook. At least you got food in there, but I'm going to the club or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever submission is, it could be very traditional and it's not customized for the relationship. You
Yeah.
have to find out what each person views as leadership or as respect, because maybe she views respect differently, or maybe he views love differently, or vice versa. But you do need to communicate about what it looks like, because you can't just come and bring what you have come up with into your relationship, and neither can
Or the other
she.
person. Yeah.
Well, let me ask this real quick. So sorry.
No.
Why do you think we work? Sorry, I put you on the
As
spot.
far
but
as
like,
respect or
That's
no, just like our relationship. I'm listening to what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, I wanna go with
I
that.
think that I feel like it's important to humble yourself and to have that communication,
Mm-hmm.
and you find these things out early on before you choose to invest the time and energy
Yep.
into building something. So why? Because why you want to waste your time, energy, and resources if you're uncertain?
Well, and
right?
I think actually what Ren said is important, which is because we talked about in the first episode, I'm a pretty strong person by myself. I found where I felt comfortable to rely on you, and you were reliable in those areas most of the time. So I needed to be able to trust that I could let my guard down a lot
Yes.
in order to let you in to take that space, and you showed yourself trustworthy.
So I
more
had to
often
show
than
you
not.
ahead of time that you could then let your guard down.
Absolutely. Because I didn't need a person to lead me. Not really.
Right.
But I wanted you to lead me, and I trusted you to do that because you showed yourself trustworthy.
Yep.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. And that's, I'm sorry.
No, go
Wait,
ahead.
just real quick. That's really, really good and important, because when we talked about the independent woman thing on the first episode with you guys that we had, a lot of women are out here doing their own thing. It doesn't mean that they don't want a man to lead them, though.
Yeah.
They have to do what they have to do until they find somebody
That they can trust.
that they can trust, that can lead them, and that they're honorable and honest.
Yeah.
Because men expect for them, some men expect to just waltz in the picture, and now all of her independence just goes down the drain.
Exactly.
You know, no. And I told someone one time, I should not have to get on my knees for you to be ahead of me. I should be able to stand up tall and proud, and you stand up tall and proud,
Well, stand
and
with
you
me.
be
Yeah,
able to be a
exactly.
leader.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to dummy down or reduce so that you can feel like a man. I'm sorry that that's your take on it. I'm just not willing to do that. I believe that there is a man that can be standing in his best self. I'm standing in my best self. And together, guess what? We knocking it out the park.
Bonnie and Clyde.
You know?
I agree.
Okay, so Kiana, what's your answer to the question?
Here we go.
Oh boy, it's loaded. And it's loaded because you know, over my years of experience in dating and all this kind of stuff.
You remember the question though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just checking.
over my years of
Tahara's
dating. and-
funny.
and she's hilarious. You remember the question? First and foremost, I don't want to be a leader over you unless, one, the foundation of spirituality is at the top. That's number one, period. So if it's not about the world's understanding of what leadership is supposed to look like, because the answers will come to you if you're being led by God in the first place. The heads is a three-head situation. The woman in itself is supposed to actually have double power than the man. The man is led by God. The woman is led by man. And the children are led by the woman. That is the hierarchy of it. That's how it's supposed to be. But what I'm saying to you, you can't get that if the man actually does not have a relationship with God in the first place.
He's
These
out of
things fall,
position.
he's out of position. So he can't really get the proper information in order for him to walk. The leadership will fall in place if he's in line. If he's in alignment with God, he don't have to ask the woman to be submissive. She's going to recognize
order.
that
Yeah.
and be like,
Yep.
I will follow you to the ends of the earth.
Yes. Very
Period.
true.
So what you're saying then is, you know, when a woman is ready for a relationship because she's willing to, she's spiritual enough.
Well, she's
That she
spiritual
can
enough to not
recognize
only-
your leadership.
Because everybody's on a different place spiritually too. So when you run into someone who is actually open to growing in that area, she just needs to be a believer. I don't care if she's an infantile. If she's willing and want the desire to learn more, she's going to be open enough to grow in that aspect. So what I'm saying is that when you look at what?
Can I just interject
Go
really
ahead.
quick? I don't agree with that.
Which part?
I know.
No, which part? Which part?
The last part, because when you get the part where you said she could be an infant, which is fine. No, not that part, not that part.
No, I'm about
Not
to
that
get
part,
like-
not that part. But the part where she has to be open to grow spiritually, she should already be growing spiritually. But I'm saying that when people are listening, they need to understand, because I made a mistake in that area because people can say they want to do something,
Yeah, but I'm not talking about saying. I'm talking about actually really.
but she should already be on her. She should already be.
It's impossible because everybody's not on the same level spiritually.
You would be married if you listen to what I'm saying about this.
Ooh.
No.
Yes,
I
he
don't
would,
think so.
because he has because listen, no,
But I'm
because
great. I
no,
wanna
but
hear
this
it. I
is
wanna
why
hear
I'm
it.
saying it. I mean,
No,
we talk like this.
We
No,
talk like
yeah,
this. No, we
it's
do.
fine.
No.
We're just witnessing it, and we're in
No,
shock.
No, we
this
do
is, no. The reason why, let's go, because the reason why is I'm saying that we get involved in situations.
I'm in the
That-
middle. I'm just so worried. I'm worried.
We get involved.
I want to hear because listen.
Now,
we
we
do
get
this.
it,
We do
and-
this.
So how you
maybe-
trying to sink lower and lower?
And maybe
I'm
we
like
can talk
trying to
about what
slide
the
out.
infant stage looks like to you.
Say that
Because
again.
we can talk about what the infant stage, because maybe I'm going too far.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is, you don't meet someone and say, oh yeah, where do you worship, or where do you fellowship?
No.
Oh, I don't. No. What I'm saying is, I want, even if he is weaker spiritually, he needs to be in somewhere getting the word on his own. She needs to be somewhere getting the word on her own.
Yeah.
Not you meeting them and they're like, oh yeah, I go to church. And
Yeah.
maybe this is PTSD, but when you meet somebody and they say that they have a relationship with God, right?
Yeah.
But you find out that they really don't have a relationship with God because they don't spend time with God.
Mm-hmm.
They're not getting to know. A relationship is when you relate,
When
you
you relate,
spend
you
time,
spend time.
right?
I
So
totally
I'm
agree.
just asking you to
Mm-hmm.
clarify, what that looks like, the infant stage, because if you have to get with someone
Mm-hmm.
and have to bring her in, is that what you're saying?
No,
Like bring
I
her
know.
in?
No.
Because you
She's-
said if she's open to,
Well, no, she's open to growth, is what I said.
Right.
Open to growth.
right,
I don't want somebody who think they know everything about what God does or how God moves.
but you said that
So,
she's an infant.
Even, that's what I'm saying, because there's people that come in that they think they know because they were taught incorrectly.
Right,
If you're under the wrong pastor, bishop, whatever, whatever title,
right,
you're under the wrong understanding of something, you can't be so rigid in that understanding or that teaching not to be able to absorb something else that may be the correct way of looking at something or
Right.
seeing something. That's what I'm not talking about.
okay, because I was going
I'm
to say,
not-
because I know you,
Yes, you already
and
know how
I
I get
know
down.
that you'll be like, sweet and care about somebody.
Always gonna do that,
But then it turns into a Messiah complex.
Yeah, but that see, then which is what
Because
the
then it
first
turns
time we
into
talked
you,
about
yeah,
this.
but then it kind of turns into like you parenting them. And then by the time you do that, you don't really look at the person like your partner because you've had to do so much to build them up to your level.
Well, I think that it's pretty equal challenging across the board. Like, if someone has the same kind of communication as I do, especially from that standpoint, that's like, I'm thinking this. What do you think about this? Where's your, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not just going off on something. They want to understand and see if we're understanding each other, if we're on the same page, if we're equally yoked in the understanding. And if I'm off, I'm off. I need to grow too. So, I mean, it's just about,
But
when
do
I
you
say
find
open,
people doing that just to say that they,
oh, I've experienced them.
yeah, that's what I'm
I don't
saying.
deal with them. Because the thing about it, me having the Holy Spirit in me, I can see that
Okay.
immediately. I don't fall into the falsities of things like that. That's otherwise I'd be in and out of so-called real relationships every month.
Right.
I'd be like, hey, you say you go to church? Come here, girl.
I'd be like, hey.
But see,
you
that's-
I'm going with you.
But that's
I'm
why
s-
you needed to clear
And
it
I'm
up.
clarifying that. I'm stabilized in the aspect of that. What I'm saying is that when you understand those things, that they fall into place. When you actually are walking like that, when you are actually like, the woman should be looking at the dude and see if he has a relationship with God in the first place before she even talked that.
Right.
You know, just because he cute or he driving the next Benz or Rolls Royce or he got all this money, he doing this kind of thing there. That's what she should be looking for, not that madness, because that madness right there is his power. He don't rely on God. He relies on that.
And
I
we're
think-
taught that. We're taught to look at their accomplishments.
Yeah,
We're not even we're taught what do they do for a living?
exactly.
You
It's
know?
interesting though that you're saying that because the worst guys I've ever dated were in the church.
Oh my.
Church
And what's
hurt.
And that's a
interesting-
whole nother conversation.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know
But-
what? Though? Yeah, but that goes back to what I said earlier.
Big
Under the
narcissist.
wrong bishoping, under the wrong pastoring, under the wrong teachings,
But not only that, even some guys use the church
they
Yeah.
yes,
to
yes,
find the vulnerable women,
Yes.
the empathic women, the women that want to
Exactly.
help, that are being sometimes
yes.
the women are being there. Sometimes they go to the church women who are being taught right.
Sure.
yeah.
You know, who are looking for the guy and the good guy, and you know.
Yeah, you
There's-
think it's a good guy and
There's
it's
two
not a good guy
aspects people don't
because you
realize.
go to church.
Right.
The devil comes into church
Absolutely.
because it's a building to most people. Second thing is to understand that where do you think all the people who are downright dirty, trying to get themselves together, they go to church for that help? It's some don't receive the help, some don't want the help, some go to make a spectacle of things. So you got to be able to discern, which is why you need the Spirit yourself. So if you're being captured by a wolf in sheep's clothing, you might want to look at what you're
Reevaluate.
doing
Yep.
at that point.
I
That's
think
what
then
I
you're
had to
answering
do.
the second question, which was about how women know when a man is ready. Some part of that I hear you saying
Yeah,
is
little-
that they have a good relationship with God and they're in
That's their
relationship
first,
with
yeah,
God.
that's their first, that's the foundation.
Got it.
Then the second thing I would have to say is that when he has a high respect for you, because if he has a high respect for you, then you become a comparable, mate, not compatible. Compatibilities switch and change all day long. A comparable mate is what's biblical.
Yes.
She's a helper to your assignment, not to disregard her assignment, but she's a helper to your assignment. That trumps compatibility.
And you're a helper to
compatibility-
hers too.
Huh?
And you're a helper to hers.
Yeah, no, most definitely you have to be, but
Kingdom
you're
business.
not going to you're going to automatically be if you're in position.
Right.
This is what I'm saying. So she'll know this if she knows you're in position, but she has to know what that position looks like and is herself as well.
And then I think you're also saying that if a man is not respecting her, then that means he doesn't want a relationship
No,
with her.
no. If a man is not respecting her, then you have things that grow out of that: domestic abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse, all these abuses. They grow out of that when the men don't respect her.
And that's why time is so important when you first meet somebody, because they can pretend. They can
Yeah.
pretend
Yeah.
initially, and
And in
then-
part one, we talked about allowing adequate time to
Exactly.
really get to know
To really
someone,
get to know somebody,
Yeah.
you're supposed to be
to filter out the people that are going to
And-
show you
who they
they've-
are. They're gonna take the mask
exactly.
off.
Yeah.
That's where the mistake was made with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, see?
Because you allow yourself to be, you allow someone to rush you, and you get with them during that love bomb phase, and you make life decisions during something that they only can do temporarily.
Yeah.
It's not
Right.
sustainable.
Once you-
It's not
And then
sustainable.
once
Right.
you bite during that season,
Are you
the
hooked?
minute if you're stuck and you've done something concrete like
Marriage, yeah.
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 and by that time, or not even married yet, but the idea of marriage
It's planted.
for a lot of women, men know women want weddings and marriage and kids, and so they plant that during that time. So now when you see the red flags from here until the time that he's going to marry you, you don't pay attention to the red flags. They don't look red.
They don't look red no
And
more.
you're just so focused, your mind is way over there on the shiny object, right? Like, oh my God, the wedding dress and the blah, blah, blah,
All
blah,
that-
blah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because he put your mind over there, which is called future faking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then now you're rushed into a situation, you're married within a year, and now the minute that you are on your honeymoon, you're like, who is this person?
He's like,
Yeah.
here I am.
Yeah.
That's wild.
God.
That's
That's like strategic and plotting. It's like,
very
but see, that's it.
sinister. It's
That-
very
that's
sinister.
yucky.
That
Yeah.
is plotting
man.
and
Transaction.
being really strategic
Yep.
Yeah.
and getting what they want from this person.
Men can be-
which is why
some
women
men
should
can be really
definitely
good.
always, if they're dating, if their end goal is to actually be married or to get married, they got to be sure themselves. If their goal is to do that, they got to make sure one that the guy is in position. You can pretend for so long, like she said, you can pretend for so long. But the thing is, when you see a red flag, you don't ignore the red flag, you address it.
Yeah.
And when you address it, that's like you're attacking it head on. And see, what's going to happen is, if there's no stability there, it's going to crumble, and you're going to realize, oh, you was faking it from the gate. It's like you faking it. So if you're dating, you're going to date. You date for a purpose. You date
Yeah.
in purpose and for purpose. Go through the stages. Is this person this? Is this person that? And let that person show you that. And when they don't show you that, you call them out on it.
Yeah.
You don't ignore it.
Hold them accountable.
From the gate. Hey, this is a little contradictory to what you said over here, or what
Yeah.
you did over here.
Yeah.
And trust me, a person who's faking it is going to stumble in this explanation.
Sure.
Eventually, he's going to fall on it.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, oh.
Yo, dating
You
is
almost
hard.
got me.
It's
You almost
hard.
got me.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard because you got so many people out here that are not true to themselves,
Yeah.
so they can't be true to someone else.
Sure.
It's like,
I want to hear the other boys
I'm-
in terms of like what do you guys think? How will a woman know that you guys are ready to have a serious relationship or move forward in a relationship or not?
oh, that's a different question.
Well, you answered it.
I did?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
you
answered
did.
for women.
Yeah, you did. You definitely answered, because I could chime in and say, when you mentioned respect, which is during the courting process of it, because you guys aren't together, but you're still getting to know one another and getting a feel for it. So I think, like you said, the respect level, once that's established and recognized and accepted, I think that's something I think that's mainly the most important part that women should acknowledge and look at as a sign that this person is ready and willing and able
Yeah. Got
to
it.
be a significant other.
Got it. And you, Sarge, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's just like the follow through, just making sure like the words and actions meet up.
Right.
I think before you stated that you need to have confidence that I'm going to follow through with what I say. So I think you need to establish that from jump,
Right.
because that's the phase that you guys are learning about each other,
Right.
making sure you're compatible
Yeah.
No.
and comparable.
I erase compatibility altogether.
Really?
Wow.
I do. And because I don't want to come from myself. I want it to be the idea from God's perspective. Then I can deal with, oh, we have this in common. We have that in common.
That's interesting. So
Yeah.
is compatibility just convenient?
Yeah.
And we
Interesting.
make it appear to be
Yeah. I
Interesting.
personally, I think, because how many times have you like something one moment and the next minute you don't?
Oh, I don't
That's
know
the
though,
line
because
of
I think that
compatibility.
a person can not be compatible because they don't have the same visions and goals. for their future.
Well, I think that
That's definitely one
surface.
form of it.
Yeah, it's one form
Right.
for sure.
And that's an important form of compatibility, I
It's
think.
important. Yeah,
Yeah.
It is important.
Well, I think that God can, if He connects you with your person, you will be compatible.
Yeah.
You know,
That
that's
comes
what I
along
think.
with it,
I think that
you know?
because you don't want to be with somebody that you're not compatible with.
Right.
No, of course
But
not.
in God, He's perfect.
Yeah.
So
the
of course He's going to give
comparability-
you, you know, I feel like He'll give it to you.
Yeah.
But what Don was saying is to just base something just on compatibility is off.
Yeah.
Because people
Huh.
pretend like they
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
They listen to you.
Right.
Listen to
Easy
And
to-
now they're
yeah.
reflecting you back on you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's easy to
And you
imitate
buy
that.
into it thinking
Yes.
that you're compatible with this person who knows how to portray you
Yeah.
back on you.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
not them.
Sure.
And that's how you buy into stuff
Yeah.
during that phase that they are holding a mirror up to you, and you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
we're so much alike.
Yeah.
They've listened.
Yeah.
They've listened to you. They've
Sure.
listened to people talk
Strategic.
about you.
Yeah.
They've listened to how you talk to other people.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, they're that with you.
Yeah. Good point.
It's like the
And
street saying.
you buy into compatibility.
Yeah.
And you're,
Chemistry too. I think chemistry is another thing people buy into. Like they
Yeah.
want to feel the
Yeah.
spark.
Because it all comes into that same little package.
But flesh, you can be attracted to somebody. You can have lust for somebody.
Yeah.
and-
Absolutely.
And, you know, and have nothing in common with them.
Nothing.
Gosh.
Absolutely.
It's like the old street saying, you know, they say, don't chase the women, chase the money, the women come with it.
All right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like
that's
this.
a classic.
You chase compatibility, comparability doesn't come with it, but if you chase comparability,
Compatibility comes with it. That's really good.
That's a good note to
that's the
end on.
difference.
That's wonderful.
That's the difference.
Thank you
So
guys.
let me ask this one
Oh.
and this one.
Okay.
When should we look forward to you? You know, there's 7 to 10 women
They say
available
that.
in Los Angeles
They say that.
to every one guy.
Oh.
Those are the ratios?
Yeah,
what
that's the
they
ratio
say.
now.
What?
Oh,
Seven
yeah,
to
that's
10.
been it for a while.
Uh-huh.
But
I thought it was 15 now.
It-
Like
it-
15.
So it's
See?
dropped.
Yo,
It's
but
dropped?
See?
It's dropped.
No, it's increased.
I thought it
15
said
women
15,
to one
15
guy.
women to one dude.
And now it's 7
Did you
to
just
10.
Google that?
No, he's saying
No,
that
I'm
it
saying
You
up
Googled
to
it.
15.
It's up to 15?
You thought it
I
was.
thought it was.
Whoa.
I would
Could
think
be.
so, but
It
I don't
could
really
be.
know.
Oh.
Here's the crazy thing. LA is behind. Atlanta was 17 to 1.
Interesting.
And this was in the 90s.
Well, that's because of the one.
Well, that's
The
because
one like the other one.
well, no, but you know,
In
it's
Atlanta.
because their gay population is
Shout out to Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
there's one-
That's
yeah,
why it was so
It
many
was so
women.
crazy there.
Interesting.
No, it's crazy.
But let's
17 to
talk
1.
about
But
you guys
Okay.
here in LA.
Yeah, we can't-
that
you
have
can't
a
get on this
bunch of
conversation.
That's why she
Here in
said,
LA.
you guys.
Because we're gonna wrap
Leaving
up.
me out the
Yeah, but we just
Yeah.
wanna
question.
hear-
Here in LA.
Because we're gonna get the questions about you two,
Here
and
in
we want to know where to email you guys, or like you want to drop your socials.
what? Not necessarily.
Okay.
Okay. You got this, man.
Don West Films on Instagram.
There it is.
Okay. Then.
Period.
Right there.
And all social platforms. See,
Wow.
Don West Films. But no, that you mentioned LA. We have a lot of options. Do we?
That's the
It
question.
depends on what the option
don't
is
think
that
so.
you're looking for.
Yeah.
They look
I
kind of
don't
the
think so.
same.
Depends
I
on what
think.
y'all
I
looking
don't
for.
think so. I don't think it's a lot.
So then, what
of
happens?
options.
You guys just live your lives as single men?
For the time being.
DM
I
him and
mean-
he might catch something that
I
he
mean,
likes.
Yeah.
something that, I think. Okay. I know, right? You know, here's the thing. I prefer quality over quantity. So 7 to 1 don't make a difference to me.
I'm
Especially
saying-
if you ain't coming to the table, like in the sense of just womanhood.
But you're open to it, I'm saying. You're open to it. I'm saying 7, 10, 15 women to every one single guy.
I
Out of
guess-
that 7, 10, 15,
What we're trying to say is, are all those chicks similar? Because if they are, then it's really only just
It's
one
really
option.
only one option. If there's
Interesting.
2% of that, then you're not dealing with 7 anymore. Because they ain't the type of women you want to deal with in the
Right.
first place.
Yep.
Like,
so you guys would rather be by yourselves and
Oh,
pick.
yeah.
Or get out of
No,
LA.
that's what I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, because here's the thing. No, don't get me wrong.
it-
Here's the thing. There's a possibility that someone can come out of that ratio, though. It's not like that's impossible. I'm not
Right.
saying that. I'm just saying that, you know, it's when it comes to that kind of aspect, you gotta understand that 7 to 1. Guess what? All 7 that's coming towards you ain't exactly what you want to deal with.
Right.
So 1, maybe 2. But the problem is that they don't come. It's all the other ones that you don't want to show up is the ones that's showing up.
Okay.
Let all 7
There
come
we
at
go.
you. You're gonna be naked when they done. Ain't got nothing.
You know what I mean?
I'm
And,
just
and again, women,
Just playing.
and women have the right to feel that way
Not
too
playing.
about men. If the right man ain't coming towards you, if he ain't saying the right things, and I don't mean just saying the right things just to say because he has to talk the talk and walk the walk. You know what I mean? But you know, it just to have a plethora of something it's not necessarily a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys would rather be by yourselves than to
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think being by
No, we-
yourself until that person or who you deem
Right.
to be worthy
So
of your
DM you too.
Don't get it
is
twisted.
The point.
Right.
As many girls as possible, because you might find that one or two.
Right.
That's what I heard you say. No.
Wait a minute. Say that again?
Say it. Please repeat that. That was real.
Oh, wait a minute.
That was real blurry.
Oh no! Wait a minute.
So get as many DMs as possible from as many women.
Nah, I
so you
ain't
can
trying to
find
read
that
all
one
that.
or
Handle
two.
business. Handle business. Go ahead. Knock yourself out.
Trying to read all that.
And so Sarge, like I feel like maybe you could.
Sarge is good. We want to be.
Nah, I was
give
gonna
some
say,
advice.
yeah. When you guys were talking, it made me think of a Chris Rock special where he mentioned about like marriage. He said you can either be married and bored, or single and lonely.
Yeah.
Which no one wants to be single, I don't think, or lonely. And marriage is not boring.
Marriage is not.
So I think it's up to the people to like define what
What is what?
it's going to be or what it could be.
Right.
So if it's the 7 to 1 or 15, whatever, and if 50% or 75% are the same, that 25% remaining, there's quality out there. You
Right.
know,
Yeah,
you have to be
most
open.
definitely.
You got to go out and seek it, but it has to be want to be found too. So it's like it's
Yeah.
a two-way street.
Yeah, it is.
So it's not going to happen by chance. You got to
Right.
actively go out there and do it.
Right.
I
So
agree
just
with that.
I
position
think
yourselves.
men go out there. Women, they'll be sitting like at home on the couch,
not
thinking
trying
it's
to-
gonna be the
yeah.
mailman.
He's gonna find me.
It's true.
Yep.
He'll
I'm
find
waiting on the
something.
Lord.
I
Yeah.
don't even
Now,
know where
It's
he
like
lives.
you're waiting on the Lord.
You keep
and
waiting
you
on
don't
the Lord,
even
but you
go
ain't even
out.
outside. Like he like what?
Not that
That's
you
not
have
how
to
it
go in
works.
pursuit, but just
Just be out.
Be available.
yeah,
Be
Be
something.
available.
Yeah.
But let's
Yeah.
be clear.
Be
Lonely
receptive.
and alone are two different things.
Very,
Yep.
very big,
Let's just
big time.
better
please
preach.
highlight that. I just
Very
want to
true.
highlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lonely and alone.
I'm
True.
I'm not lonely, but I
not-
love
I
being
love my
alone.
own
I'm not
company.
lonely.
But I also know that being alone is not forever. That's
Right.
not a
Yeah.
forever thing.
finite.
Yeah.
It's- You know, it's
No,
temporary. It's now,
it's now.
maybe later,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not forever.
It's a
so,
season.
right.
and
Exactly.
being
Right.
alone.
There's a finale.
Being
Yeah.
alone is better than being lonely in the house with someone.
Yes, very
Oh,
much so.
true.
I've been there too. And if this was me 30 years ago, I'd say bring all 7. Come on. I'm with it. Let's get
You
it.
saying that today? That's all I heard.
That is
said
not,
bring
that
all
is not what I
15,
said. Don't
25,
even try
30.
it. That is not what I said. Don't
The
even
more the
try that.
merrier, because you're looking for that
That
one or
is
two.
Definitely not.
Well,
That's
thank you
more
guys
trouble
for
than
coming
a
on the
little bit.
show. It was really fun
Yeah,
to
this
have
was-
you
Yeah,
guys.
thanks for having us.
I don't know if we
Good
actually finished this.
conversation.
I don't think, honestly, I think.
You hoping to come back, Conquiano?
Hoping we need to. Because
You trying to say-
ain't nothing was finished.
I don't think
Y'all
they
need
want
to
us
hear
back,
us.
man. I don't know if they
Probably
want a
not.
part 3. Y'all want a
We
part
got something
3?
to say.
I mean,
I'll let Cole
It's
and
up
let
to
them
them.
know.
I don't know.
It's
I
up to
mean,
them.
I don't know. I don't. Here's the thing. They may be tired of us, so I don't know.
Yeah.